Yes, it's Freaky Friday, everybody, on your protection from deception. Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. I got to tell you, folks, it has been one of those crazy weeks. Of course, it's always a crazy week. I can't really say it's not a crazy week. I can't even say that this has been more crazy than the craziest week, because it really hasn't. It's just been one of those crazy weeks. And I got Kev here. I got Scotty here. And guys, how you doing today? It's Friday night, and Scotty's feeling all right.
It is Friday, and it is freaky. So
It is.
yes, it is. So, a lot of things on the agenda for tonight. I
Dude,
know you guys have got
you know what you sound like? I'm going to tell you what you sound like. I'm going to tell you what you sound like. You sound like that easy listening host on the lower FM stations here in the States. So easy listening, 92.3 to WD.
If you have any issues, call the love line.
I'm telling you, dude.
8 o'clock to midnight.
You are just all about the love, peace, and harmony tonight. Holy smoke.
You could maybe do the new Grand Theft Auto. You'd be cool on one of the tracks when you're driving along in the car, Scotty. You could have used the talk host.
That's a brilliant thing about that game, actually, now that you bring that up.
Do you remember we had the guy? Do you remember though, Scott? Do you remember we had the dude from Grand Theft Auto? He'd made one of the original ones and he was here on the show. And he was actually saying in the chat room, this would be an awesome kind of show to put on the game itself. We should really have pursued that, guys. We could have ended up being on Grand Theft Auto.
That would have been great, because that game has some damn longevity to it, let me tell you.
It's one of the behemoths out there. It is one of the big kind of unicorns, I would say, in the gaming world.
Yeah.
On the current Grand Theft Auto, there is a talk radio station on there that is very similar to a certain guy out of Texas. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very, very interesting to listen to, while you're playing the game. It's like, wow, okay.
I've been playing Forza lately. Forza, good driving game, and it's got different tracks, different radio stations, but it's more your music, your hip hop, your R&B, and I would like it if it did have some talk content. And if it's anything like Grand Theft Auto, I know the game's got its critics. It's got some really, really questionable things in there. But at the end of the day, it's still a game, folks, and it's just a game. Okay, but
it's an open world game, and it's up to you to make the decisions to do what you do in the game.
And boy, oh boy, is it not politically correct.
No.
It's kind of toxic. I would imagine you could say.
Damn toxic games.
You know me, when it comes to the toxic stuff, it really triggers me. But listen, folks, it's Freaky Friday. So that means what we're going to do is we're going to dip our toe into the Wookiee cave over at TFRlive.com. And I want to remind everyone to check out TFRlive.com. And you can go to the chat room there. Over 30 shows, besides Freaky Friday. There is something for everyone. And of course, we're going out live tonight as well, simulcasting to YouTube. So a big shout out to everyone over there as well. Who knows? We might even be joined by the elusive Brian from time to time on tonight's show.
That would be nice. I would like to hear
exactly.
That.
So then, without any further ado, let me bring this over here so I don't get some kind of a twist in my neck. We have, first up, Sophia the Robot. How you doing, Sophia? Sophia, I've got a new job for you. You can you get yourself a habit. I don't mean a bad habit. I mean literally a habit. Because, the Catholics, they're looking at robo-priests and robo-nuns. So, Sophia, check it out. Get your CV up. I mean, do robots have CVs? You should have. You've got everything else that a human wants, right? But then we have the Wookiee. We have my good friend Armand. And folks, Armand was on the Kev Baker show. If you didn't catch that at the time, go and check it out in the archive here or over on YouTube. Man, oh man, did Armand blow everyone's mind. Great stuff. We've got Paradoxical Anomaly, Wu-Tang Man, Waffle Buddy, The Brilliant Polynation. We've got Richie in there. And then we've got Non-Profit Freedom, Carol Motzinger, Bam, Epic Journey Man. I bet you it was. And then we've got Bill 13, Lurens, Contentious Plan, King Sweet. King Sweet, my friend. the royalist. You big fan of the Queen, you. I know what you're at, brother. You're a freaky deaky one, you. I've got my eye on you. No wonder the worried sheep. It's looking very worried coming after King Sweet. We've got Tony Phillips. Cautious Soul. I like that. That sounds like the name of like a Barry White album or something, doesn't it? Cautious Soul.
Yes, it does.
Grippy. And
It's like Suspicious Minds.
there you go, dude.
That was the Fat Elvis comeback song.
There you go, man. There you go. Then we've got Excited Creature. Talking of Elvis, one of my guests I had on recently, Debbie Elliott, the woman that had wrote the book Monkey Body Robot Mind. Is that what it is? Yeah, I think that's the name of it. But she was saying if she had a time machine, that's where she would go, you know, Joe. Back and see Elvis. I was thinking to myself, I think there would be other places I'd go before I go and see the burger-eating big man, you know?
I'm telling you, man. I don't think that would be my first choice personally. I'm thinking more along the lines of
You can't go to the flood because I know the rules of time travel. You can't be in the same place as your other self at the same time. And if you and Noah end up on the same ark, I know it says 2 by 2, Joe, but you're gonna set off a series of events that's gonna end up with.
I was going though. I was gonna go back farther than that. You see.
All right.
I want to be at the place and time when the capstone is put on the Great Pyramid.
All right.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to see that thing finished. You know, like what was it really all about? What was that when that capstone? Was there a capstone? Because even Josephus, he wrote, and this was at turn of the millennium, that the capstone was missing then. So it's been gone a long time. Heck, it could have been since the flood. Because
I reckon the Chattahoochee have got it.
Maybe it's like a key. That's what I'm thinking.
What if there was just like a stream of energy just shooting out of the top of it? What if there was no capstone? What if it was just emanating an energy beam right out of the top of it?
Yeah, that could be too. It could be too. Yeah,
Like
I
a
don't know.
hologram of like Tupac singing or something, Scott.
Could you imagine? Yeah, they had like a concert series there.
Yeah, it's like we usually like reanimate like dead people from the past, but they were actually like bringing people from the future in, dude.
That was like the pre-flood Vegas.
Oh man,
It was.
they were the
I-
first to have Live Aid, dude.
You go to Vegas right now. What do you got? You got
A pyramid.
Look of a pyramid with a capstone.
Do you
And
know-
what does it do? It's radiating shit out of it at the top of it.
There's one with a big lion as well out the front. Is there not? There's like Sphinx type shit there, dude.
Yeah,
In the middle of the desert.
in the desert over here in the
A lot of Egyptian symbology just all packed into one convenient little place right there in the
America.
desert.
There's
Yes,
There's something else that's conveniently packed into a small little place in the desert right now somewhere. But I tell you what, it isn't like Egyptian expertise. It's
Are
all
you
of these.
sure?
It's all of these crazy characters that are storming Area 51, Joe.
are they? Have they attacked yet?
I don't know if they've attacked yet. It's not dark yet. But then again, from a fighting force or an invasionary force that broadcast their plans ahead of time, months ahead, maybe daylight and darkness, they don't really think strategically, do they? Maybe if they think if we go in under the cover of daylight, maybe we'll like trick them. Maybe they won't be waiting for us.
What if it's the coming out party?
Look, here's one here. Let's hear from one of the geniuses, shall we?
Yeah, please.
This was from Area 51, folks. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
So what's going on tonight with the Area 51 thing? I don't think he's arrived yet, but we have a good friend who's about to be arriving. Hit the computer. He's about to be running it because we're gonna have to recharge battery on this because there's a good chance this is gonna be going for 12 hours.
Man, what do you mean?
Yeah, man, because you don't want your batteries running out when you're live streaming Pink Mist. When that first cloud goes up, you want to be sure you ain't getting cut out in the desert, man. You don't want it going off then. I get it.
I mean, if people want to see,
You see, folks, Joe, Scott, it's this generation of up-and-coming men that wear hats like this that brings into play my universal eugenics argument. And anything that goes down in the desert, Not saying that, you know, it'd be a good thing or anything.
It stays in the desert.
It stays in the desert. What happens at Area 51 should stay at Area 51. And anyone wearing that hat,
I'll bet you that some very interesting flowers spring up from the pools of blood that go ahead and just soak at the ground.
There's meant to be people live streaming it. We'll check like YouTube in a bit, see if people.
Could you imagine like
all you're gonna hear is like a burst of 50 cal fire and then the end of their live stream. That's about.
No. It's gonna be like Starship Troopers.
Yeah, or you see like a burst of laser fire, and then it cuts out. Yeah.
Joe, they're making a new Battlestar Galactica, man. Can you believe it? Again? Who cares? Who cares, dude?
I get it, but I mean, like, how did they top the second one?
Oh, the second one was just... Anyone who hasn't watched that, it's timeless. You can go... Oh,
shit. I mean, that had to be probably one of the best series I've ever watched. I don't care if you're sci-fi or drama or anything. The storyline in that,
man.
The ending...
Joe, I knew nothing about it, right? I had not looked into any of the fandom, didn't look at any of the lore to do with it, nothing. So you can imagine when it got to that last moment, I'm not going to give any spoilers, folks, because I want you to have that moment that I had.
Wow.
It was a wow moment.
Wasn't it? I mean, it just like,
It was everything, dude.
That had to be probably, like I said, that was the most satisfying ending I ever watched in a series ever.
Big time.
And just the whole series from start to finish, you just wanted to keep watching it. That's the nice thing about binge watching. You know, I don't know if I would have been as big I was a big Battlestar Galactica fan the first time, you know, with Lauren Green and company. But I gotta say that if it wasn't, and I didn't have the ability to binge watch it, I probably wouldn't be as big a fan. Only because I don't have the time to watch it consistently, and I don't have TV, so DVR's like no. So I have to wait until it comes out and where I can binge watch it anyway. So I like the fact that I can do that. You know,
Robert, Scott, were you a Battlestar Galactica guy?
Battlestar Galactica, yeah. The new one was pretty good.
Oh,
you know?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course the way it ended and everything, and you're like, okay, you know. But I think they did a really good job of like updating the old Battlestar Galactica, you know. And the old Battlestar Galactica, I mean, that's a classic. It's just, you know, dated for its time, you know. I mean, when was all that running? Like, what, late 70s, early 80s, something like that?
See, that would be a better thing for these people to do. Just go somewhere and watch, like, binge watch Battlestar Galactica.
That was a golden age of sci-fi TV that came on, you know. Geez, I mean... Boy, memories.
But don't you think, though, Joe, in some ways that was preparing us for the world we're in today?
You know, yes and no, because, I mean, you've got people that are putting their, you know, their fingerprints and their ideologies, and they mix them in like Gene Roddenberry, you know, very, very big time visionary, if you ask me.
Gene Roddenberry.
But, you know, Star Trek, when the movie came out, that was huge. And then that's when it started picking up in popularity, because it really didn't up until the mid to late 70s. And then, you know, you had Battlestar Galactica, and then you had Buck Rogers in the
Buck Rogers, man. Come on, Buck.
That was freaking banging.
I remember the first time I told Kevin about Buck Rogers, he's looking at me and then he's looking at his mum as if to say, is this idiot making this stuff up? Who the hell is Buck Rogers? Buck Rogers? And I'm thinking, hey, you cheeky little upstart. Buck Rogers was the man. He was the man, dude.
So Buck Rogers, you know, that was such a cool series, and it only lasted from 79 to 81. It only lasted 3 years, but man, it was just so good. It was so good. So you had those, you know, those biggies, and there were other ones too, but those were the ones that I really remember.
And those programs didn't produce young men that wear head attire like these two. Let's see what these geniuses have to say. They've got their batteries charging. Come on, guys, hit us with it.
Are we having a war? I mean, we're getting ready right now.
A war? Seriously?
Man.
I don't think you two would survive a battle on Call of Duty, let alone a war.
We're getting ready right now, so it's like we got to do what we got to do. So, basically, just so I can explain, there's like a...
Do you hear that? Do you hear that? That's the best thing about all of this. There's somebody in the background that has started some big kind of rave, some big kind of music festival. There's beer.
Just get them.
Yeah,
Just get smashed.
just go there. Don't think about raiding places. Stay safe. Look for some UFOs. Get some laser pens out. Freak some people out. Get a drone. Put like a wraith costume on the drone. You know, scare people.
That would be kind of cool if you get like jam-proof drones or something with like a frequency hopping.
Scotty showed me this thing where people had actually put on like a scream mask and like a black kind of sheet over like a drone in the park, and it was chasing people.
That's the thing now, Kev. I mean, that's the thing that they sell. You buy the drone and then you
How
put
cool
the little,
is that?
It's like a skeleton mask and like it looks like a wraith flying through the air, you know. So they're free.
And I was thinking though, guys, you know, what's happened to the youth of today? What happened to the pranks and the things that we used to do, right? Harmless stuff, but funny all the same. And nowadays, that kind of mindset, it's gone, you know, right? People are playing online and the play indoors, they're not as out as much. But then when I seen that, I thought, no. The prank is still well and alive, and it's adapting to the technological age.
It's just like, you know, how we've always said, prohibition doesn't work. When it does happen, look what happens. You get these underground cartels types of things. Back in the good old days when alcohol was illegal, it was Al Capone and people like that, you know. Today, it's the Sinaloa cartels and all that kind of stuff. It's different times, same crap, just different times and different things because technology changes. People's wants and needs and desires change. So, but it's all basically the same shtick, just played over and over and over again. And it's no different here.
Let's hear the end.
Ever seen?
On you go, Scott.
I was gonna say, have you ever seen the Naruto run? What that's supposed to be? What that looks like?
Is that not like...
It's horrible. Humans reproducing that is absolutely horrifically stupid looking.
And you got to remember, that's the main sticking point of this raid Area 51 thing is you got a Naruto run at Area 51. And
although Scott, if anyone's going to be Naruto running, it might well be these two, right?
There's a very good chance.
See, even he agreed.
Connection will start to go out once we get really close to the base.
Yeah, once you get in the kill zone, you won't get a picture from there, dude. It's okay. We'll be saved that. It's all right. Your parents won't have to watch the Pink Mist. God help them.
Like, once we start driving, we'll probably be fine. But once we get really close, it's probably going to get terrible.
Listen to yourself, man. That voice in your head's trying to give you a chance to get out of there, dude.
So this is what we're going to do. In the case that does happen, we prepared the satellite with extra connectors, so it should be able to stay in for...
Dang, these boys are going prepared. They've got a satellite and stuff up there. What? I tell you what, maybe I take it all back now.
Yeah, maybe it's those pesky Chi-Com.
Maybe, exactly. They're either Chi-Com or maybe they're Russian agents. The Russians done it, right?
While, but absolute worst case scenario, what we're going to do right now is we're going to record it, and then we'll just basically, we're going to leave the stream up, and we're just going to...
Okay, wait. So you're going to record it first, and then you're going to go and do it? Okay.
That's all right. Don't let
stream from the camera what we recorded. We're hearing that all the they're like no white trucks here because all the white trucks are lined up.
Racist trucks
around the gate right now.
Can I just throw this out there?
Sure.
There may be drugs involved in this.
Who knew? Sign there. Jesus was an alien.
Yes.
Well, he didn't come from here per se, right? So I suppose that, technically speaking,
actually, no, he was born here on Earth.
But he was made of supernatural kind of shenanigans,
Actually,
right?
he only had half his chromosomes.
Well, dude,
If,
anything with half a set of chromosomes that's kicking about here goes down as alien for me, right?
sounds kind of, yeah, definitely.
Definitely, dude. I think so. We can agree on that one. Area.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they've got the tactical maps. They've released their tactical maps. Look, they've got it sussed. And of course, Laura McAndrews, U.S. Air Force, is quoted as saying, "We would discourage anyone from." Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Pieb. How'd you say that, Scott? Come on. Pueblo?
Pueblo.
Yeah, I like
Pueblo.
that. Pueblo.
Pueblo.
I like that, man. We would discourage anyone from trying to come into the area. Yes, indeed. I mean, like I've said before multiple times, and it doesn't need saying again, I don't think there's any kind of like flying saucer that these people would uncover, even on the off chance that one of them got in there, Scott. You know, they're going to get into a hangar. Let's just say, right, for whatever reason, things in the universe align and they're able to get into a hangar. All they're going to find is the inside of a hangar.
First of all, anything that they think is in there is not there anymore.
Dude, I get it, Scott. Me and you would be the first ones, right? We'd be the first ones to say we want the truth, right? That's what we're after. But this isn't the way to go about it.
And not only that, for a place that's supposed to be super top secret, Area 51, how much attention has been given to such super top secret Area 51?
You know, see these cats that are working at the base that we don't know, Scotty, the one that we don't even have a name for, they're all sitting laughing right now with their feet up thinking, come on, surely we can tell our wives and our husbands where we work. Nobody even knows about us. Look at these fruit bats. You know what I mean?
The real stuff is going on at what, like Area 52 or Area 53 or an area that like we really don't even know about.
And think about, even maybe one of these islands, Scott, out in the Pacific or something like that, like Diego Garcia, somewhere that literally nobody is ever going to get eyes on. You know, that's where I would imagine if there is like real kind of like this kind of stuff, alien stuff, I would keep it away there, or like Cheyenne Mountain, somewhere where nobody's getting near, dude.
Yeah.
Not like this is like the Las Vegas. It's like a tourist attraction of conspiracy land. That's what it's like. You got the Georgia Guidestones.
Dude.
The pyramids.
I wonder how frequented that place is.
What, the Georgia Guidestones?
Yeah.
I would say by people like us, quite a lot.
You think so?
I think
know
so.
It's vandalized quite often.
Yeah.
It's
Georgia.
constantly getting vandalized. I know that.
There we go.
I mean, I wonder. Like,
there they are. Look at them. Oh, listen, see from like a statue, sculpture kind of thing. I think they're pretty cool. It's a pretty cool kind of exhibit, you know?
No, it is. It's very, it's just, I wonder like how much traffic goes and sees those, because it's in the middle of a farm field. If I remember right.
I'll tell you here. Wikipedia tells you everything, Joe.
Oh,
come on.
There's enough to where they've had to like, I think, put something around. You know, people were like trying to deface it and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't know.
Let these be guidestones to an age of a reason.
Yes.
Yes. Let's see. Astronomical features. Nah. I can imagine it's quite well visited, though. I would imagine. And here we are. Here it is right here. We've got an AOC incoming. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Yes. Webb Smith, I love you. For £5, I love you long time.
That.
But here we have this here. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. I call that emojis. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. By that, they mean just us, and we ain't us.
Right, exactly.
Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. You see, that's why you people that are putting this system in place, you got to watch. You're the first to go. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. And number 10 of the Georgia Guidestone Commandments, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Booga, booga, blah.
Yeah, very, very Thanos-esque.
We'll be back after these short messages, and I will be giving you more of the cult of Kev. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, it's a bit kind of cultish, that kind of stuff, eh?
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing.
Little culty cult.
Of course, we're still here on YouTube, folks. Yes, we know you're all out there. Great to see you all today. 157 in there. Smash that like button. Smash the share button. Or hit the dislike button. Just poke the algorithm, get its attention, and we'll get even more people in here. Lots of woo to come tonight. Is that not right, boys?
Yes, very much so.
I think we should take a... Maybe there's people out there that don't know about the Guidestones, boys. So when we come back, we'll do a brief description, right?
Sure.
Sounds good.
I always like to include those. We take it for granted everyone's been looking at this stuff as long as we have, you know? And then looking time to time in the Discord server and things, not everyone's up to the same pace. So it makes the stream timeless as well. People can go back.
I've always been a proponent of every once in a while going back and doing just a little conspiracy 101. You know, just get back to the basics, refresh everybody on why we do this to begin with. You know,
wasn't that why we fell in love with that crazy Texan right at the start when he used to do that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I was watching a bit of that today. He had Eddie Bravo on there talking about the shape of the playing field.
Oh boy.
I don't know. Eddie Bravo, you either love him or hate him, right? I don't know what to make of him, man. Brian's a busy boy.
Brown chicken, brown cow. Let's do it, woo-oo.
Come on, Brian. At least have a bit of enthusiasm about you. You sounded pissed there.
Yeah, I sound kind of pissed tonight.
He'll get over it. He'll get over it. So yes, what is next on the agenda?
Well, we'll go over the Guidestones briefly when we come back, and then wherever you want. We can go deep woo. We've got Mysterious Universe. We've got monkey creatures in Texas, Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. And I know people at home, I know people on YouTube, you can see this. You see you getting the behind the scenes version of Freaky Friday. It gets really, really freaky behind here. At least this week Joe's got his clothes on. Usually he does it naked, so it's a bonus that way.
Yeah. Scotty, I just put Tech Explorer article in there about brain implant to control your wheelchair.
Yes, just a guy. I agree with you. I find Brian quite racist as well. I do. Pesky Brian. And a big shout out to everyone in the chat. Got Stephanie, Armand, Just a Guy, Matthew, Jason, Ben Mac, Stephanie, I think I've done that, Alex, Stimulate. Still watching the time to go back to the network. See this multitasking, guys? We've got Marcus Aurelius in there. What a brilliant name. What a brilliant name. Love it.
Yes, very nice.
Tim Greenglass, Christendom Defender, like it, China Lake, Dumbs, talking about the deep underground military bases. Oh, yes, good woo. Are we ready, folks? Nearly that time to go back to the mothership. Oh, yes. Remember.
Also got a...
On you go, Scott.
I was to say, we also got a very, very interesting article about some genetic mosquitoes that look like they have gone out of control.
Oh, he's been asleep at the wheel for a little bit, Kev.
Yes.
Yes, we covered that on Wednesday, but we'll cover it for you.
Okay. Right, here we go, guys. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Yes, welcome back. It is the second segment of Freaky Friday on your protection from deception, TFRlive.com. And so we're thinking about these Georgia Guidestones during the break, and we kind of came to the conclusion that, man, you know, some people listening may not even know what the Georgia Guidestones are. So, I don't know. They are very mysterious. They were built anonymously. And RC, what is it? RC Christian, I think.
Yes.
Is the name of the person that funded the construction of these things. But if you take a look at the goals or the, I don't know what you call them, the guide, it's kind of makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, Kev? Makes you want to be a, I don't know, what do you call it? A red pill eater?
Yeah, I mean, this here, for me anyway, it reads like something out of a globalist wet dream, to be honest
Does
with
it?
you. Yeah, big time.
And the different languages and much like a lot of the the symbology and the monuments, they've all got, meaning behind the structure itself and how it's placed astronomically. There's a lot of meaning that goes into this stuff.
It's multi-layered, isn't it, Joe, when you get into the Guidestones? Because like you say, there's astronomical alignments. You've got these inscriptions on it, several languages, the mystery around who actually commissioned the building of it. It said Ted Turner, the CNN dude. I think he started CNN, right, guys? Like Ted Turner.
That's right.
He's one of the main kind of suspects. I don't think, have we ever proven or disproven who done it?
It's possible because, he lived down in Georgia and he had
And Scott, I'm just going by internet lore kind of thing. I mean, it's the internet. Yeah. It could be.
I don't know if he actually funded it either. It's just kind of speculation. But he has been on record saying 90% of the population needs to pretty much be wiped away, right? And so I guess he would be the main suspect if you were going to kind of compare the his statements and the population reduction that it talks about on the stones. So it's like, well, he has that same thought process, so who knows? But yeah, it's weird, man. The way it's laid out and everything. I don't know why, but every time I see the Guidestones, for some reason, I think of Stonehenge for some reason. I don't know why, but it just reminds me. Just that feeling about it, and I'm like,
It's for some reason. Look, to me, it's almost. I don't know. I get like that vision of Moses and things, like getting the commandments etched into stone, stuff like that. There's something kind of weird about it. There's something woo about it. The positioning of it wouldn't surprise me if it was on ley lines as well. But it says here that a granite monument erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia. A set of 10 Guidestones is inscribed on the structure in 8 modern languages and a shorter message inscribed at the top of the structure in 4 ancient language scripts. I mean, what's that all about? I mean, inscribed at the top that you're basically hardly going to see anyway. It says the monument stands at approximate elevation of 750 feet above sea level, about 90 miles east of Atlanta. So it's close to like the CDC, and I've always thought that's where the zombie apocalypse is going to start from. Just saying. Right. Yeah, we've got 45 miles from Athens, Georgia, and then 9 miles north of the center of the city of Elberton. 1 slab stands in the center and 4 arranged around it. A capstone lies on top of the 5 shelves, which are astronomically aligned. An additional stone tablet, which is set in the ground a short distance to the west of the structure, provides some notes on the history and purpose of the Guidestones. And the structure is sometimes referred to, here you go, Scott, as an American Stonehenge. The monument, and for all you people that like the numbers out there, get your pens ready, the monument is 19 feet and 3 inches. Now, why not just make it 19 feet? Do you know what I mean? And it's made from 6 granite slabs weighing 237,446 pounds. And the anonymity of the Guidestones author and their apparent advocacy for population control, eugenics, and internationalism, or as we call it, globalism, have made them the target for controversy and those pesky conspiracy theorists.
Come and get you.
Yep, exactly. So it was a man, like Joe said, using the pseudonym Robert C. Christian. He approached the Albertine Granite Finishing Company on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans. That loyal to America, they were selling it out internationally, go figure. And commissioned the structure. Christian explained that the stones would function as a compass, a calendar, and a clock, and should be capable of withstanding catastrophic events. Now, that's quite
interesting. Is that?
Yeah, that's interesting. A clock, it's almost in as if there's a timeline coded into it.
Maybe.
Yeah, has anyone ever looked into that or
Or do they just mean by this? Maybe they mean by the, like a sundial, because it's astronomically aligned.
Could be.
Could be.
But let's just say it's astronomically aligned at when the Guidestones are aligned with Beetlejuice 42.
Oh, nice.
The end is nigh.
Do you know, you don't even know this, but that's the, if I remember rightly, that's the blazar. That
Yes, Beetlejuice is, yeah.
That's the one that Anthony Patch uses in his book 2048 Diamonds in the Rough. A really good, fascinating read for anyone who hasn't read it. And I think you can get it on Anthony's website. But yeah, that's that very same blazar. So we keep coming down here, see what it says. We've had the inscriptions.
The big thing here, too, is to remember that Robert C. Christian represented a group of people that had been planning this for about 20 years. So it's not just him. That's why when people say it's got to be Ted Turner, it's not Ted Turner. It's a group. And for some reason, and I see R.C. Christian, I always think Rosicrucian.
Yeah.
Or something along that line. Don't know why. I'm just speculating, but that's just me. Is there something in the anonymous name that would give a clue as to who's behind it?
What group is behind this?
Right.
What tentacle of the octopus? And this is interesting, right? It's the 4 ancient languages are Babylonian cuneiform.
Look at that.
We've got classical Greek, Sanskrit, and Egyptian hieroglyphics. And let these be guidestones to an age of reason. How many times in recent shows have we all mentioned the fact that we're at the end of one age and going into another? You know, it might seem like one of these conspiracy tropes, right? One of these, like, it's like conspiracy legends, the Guidestones. Oh, not talking about the Guidestones again. Maybe we've talked about them that much that we're missing something, and it is time to revisit them because we are at the cusp of a new age. And if this group of Americans, this loyal group of Americans, whoever they may be, if they're calling this the age of reason, call it what you may, it's still the change of an age. And this is their plan. This is their mindset. The eugenics, the depopulation. I mean, 7.7 billion people on the planet, Joe. How do we whittle that down to 500 million?
It's happening already. It's happening simply right now by social engineering. So we are already witnessing, for the first time in a very long time, where the population of the Earth will actually start to decrease if things remain the same. As a matter of fact, Kev, can you Google search birth, like 2018 birth rates or something like that? I want to see what the birth rates are. Interestingly enough, if you take a look at first world birth rates, it is unbelievable what you see. Now, in order for the population to expand, you have to have at least 2.1 children per household. That's what you have to average. If you don't average that, then you're going to either stay at the same level or start to decrease. So 2 will keep it status quo.
Wow.
too.
Look at that Vox article, like praising this, saying that
Vox will win it. Woke Vox, eh? Dang.
Yeah, this could be a good thing that nobody's having children anymore.
Okay, so and how is that? Why are people deciding not to have children? Because you can't afford it anymore, and because people have been driven to being so self-centered that they can't envision sacrificing the time, the effort, and the energy that it takes to have a family, and the commitment. It's not there. And why is that? It's because social engineering, and it's too expensive. I can't help but use this again and again to illustrate it. If you took a cashier at Walmart today and transported them back to 1955, that cashier makes the equivalent of $38 an hour today when you factor in inflation and everything else. That's how dad could be a cashier and mom could still stay at home and raise the kids, because you could work one job and you could live the American dream. There is no American dream now.
Was there ever?
I don't know.
It's interesting, though. It is. When you think about it, this new age, Scott, they don't want the family. You can see over the decades, over the years, they've been trying to destroy and break apart families, and never have they been so broken apart. And listen, I'm not knocking families. I mean, I was brought up by a single mum and things, before she met my stepdad. So don't think I'm judging people out there. Not at all. Dang, it's harder for these people, but it's almost like they encourage that now, that they want that. For some reason, the family scares the crap out of them, guys.
So you have that, right? That in and of itself has been devastating. Like I said, if you go ahead and look at the first world country population rates, nobody is above 2. Nobody. Half of the world is below 2. And the countries that are above are developing nations. So you have a lot of, if you go to Africa, Africa's population rates are exploding right now, and Muslim countries as well.
It's all right. They've got Ebola for things like that, Joe.
Oh yeah, but it's culture, right? So that's the other thing too. So culture also plays a role in it. And then of course you have the technological aspect of things. How much does all this Wi-Fi and RF immersion, how much does that, or saturation, how much does that play a role?
I mean, the thing I think we're missing is that we think this is all it's doing us so much harm. It's all bad news. And why are they doing this? It's craziness.
I guess what I'm saying, though,
but Joe, the thing is, look, I mean, this is a headline here. This is where they're taking us. They're taking to a post-human. They're actually taking us towards a post-human world.
Is why? Because that is the artificial creation.
Yep.
That's why I say, I truly believe it's the AI, artificial general intelligence, that is what the Bible refers to as Antichrist, because that is what everybody will go to for answers. That's what everybody will go to seek help. That is going to be the answer to all of our problems. And you don't need God anymore. You don't need Jesus. We've got the AI, and it's going to take care of everything. It's going to answer all our questions.
It's even going to fix your camera. The AI got angry there. See that? The AI's like, shut it, Joseph. Shut it, Joseph. No, I get you, man. I get you. I hear you. There he is, looking good again.
And because of how much smarter it is and how much, beyond human capacity the AI is able to operate at, it will literally be seen to be performing miracles, right? And isn't that one of the traits of the Antichrist, right? He comes out and he performs miracles, and everyone's like, oh wow, and this artificial intelligence is going to be capable of doing things so incredible that we will see it as vehicles. Yeah.
So we have a very, very, very interesting period of time coming. So
I think we're in it. I don't think it. Yeah, I think we're in it. And just to go back to the Guidestones quickly here, it's got these astronomical kind of alignments as well, right? And it says here, a few feet to the west of the monument, an additional granite ledger. That's the one that we'd looked at just a moment ago. It says it also speaks of a time capsule, Scott, buried under the tablet, but spaces on the stone reserved for filling in the dates on which the capsule was buried and is to be opened have not yet been inscribed. So it's uncertain if the time capsule was even put in place. I bet it was. It was. So it'd be interesting to see what's in there. The complete text of the explanatory tablet is detailed below. The tablet is somewhat inconsistent with respect to punctuation, misspell of the word pseudonym. It is a code. It is a code. You don't have, listen to this. The complete text of the explanatory tablet is detailed below. The tablet is somewhat inconsistent with respect to punctuation, misspells the word pseudonym. Did the 17th letter of the alphabet erect? Did the 17th letter put up the Georgia Guidestones? Is there kill brackets on the Guidestones? Are they really the Guidestones? Are they the Guidestones? Tell me it isn't so. Right, so it says here, the original spelling, punctuation, and line breaks in the text have been preserved in the transcription which follows. Letter case is not. At the top center of the tablet is written, so they've changed it here to what it should be. The Georgia Guidestones, center cluster erected March 22. So that's what, 322? Skull and Bones number. Right? Yeah. Skull and Bones.
Very nice.
Yes. 1980. You like how I done that, Joe? See, just off the top of the head there. 1980. Immediately below this line of a square, or the outline of a square, which is handwritten, let these Guidestones be Guidestones to an age of reason. Now, around the edges, like we were talking about, you've got the Babylonian, blah, blah. Astronomical features. Number 1, channel through stone indicates celestial pole. Number 2, the horizontal slot indicates annual travel of the sun. Number 3, the sunbeam through capstone marks noontime throughout the year. So there's where the clock comes into it, I think, then, yeah? But that's the clock angle.
Yeah.
RC Christian, there's the misspelling of pseudonym. And then sponsors a small group of Americans who seek the age of reason. And the time capsule, placed 6 feet below this spot, on and no date to be opened. Yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed.
What if I kept that date blank? What do you think?
I think if they'd put the date on there, that would have told people there's something underneath, and people would have tried to dig it up by now.
I think the date is left blank for people to try and figure it out themselves, right? And I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to run simulations of how it casts shadows, and project that into the future. You know what I mean? And see if you can discern if it's some kind of a sundial clock that's counting down to something.
We don't need to do anything, Scott. We don't need to do anything. We just need to find one of the 17th letter of the alphabet boards. We'll post it in there with the theory that we think the 17th letter built it, and it'll be analysed. It'll be forensically analysed, taken apart. They'll do all the work for us, dude. You like it? You like it? We can just sit back and watch it all happening. We started that. Forget your storm Area 51. We stormed the 17th letter.
Are you utilizing 3D chess, Kev? Is that what you're doing?
Dude, I'm on 13D chess tonight. I'm telling you. I'm up there, man. I'm up there. Kill brackets. Loving it. And it says here, Yoko Ono. Well, if Yoko Ono's blessed them, it must be a good thing, right? She praised the inscribed messages as a, quote, a stirring call to rational thinking. She didn't quite say it like that, but you get it in your head. You know what she sounded like. While Wired stated that an unspecific opponent's or unspecified opponents have labeled them, oh, get ready, the 10 Commandments of the Antichrist. Blah, yeah, 666, blah. Indeed, man. Hey, Mark Dice gets a mention in here. One of them, an activist, Mark Dice, demanded that the Guidestones, quote, be smashed into a million pieces and then the rubble used for a construction project, claiming that the Guidestones are of a deep satanic origin and that R.C. Christian belongs to a Luciferian secret society and it's related to the New World Order.
Say it ain't so.
I can't really disagree with what Mark's claiming there.
Oh.
I don't call for any violence against the Stones, though. I don't think that's going to...
Found. He said, Jay Wiedner observing that the pseudonym of the man who commissioned the Stones, R.C. Christian, resembles Rose Cross Christian or Christian Rosencreuz, the founder of the Rosicrucian Order.
There you go, then.
How do you like that?
Yeah. And then Alex Jones film. And algorithm, don't worry, we're making fun of it. Look, ha ha, hee hee. The endgame blueprint for a global enslavement proposes that the Guidestones are a harbinger of self-appointed elites, tech, who intend on exterminating most of the world's population. Check. Just saying. So, and they say that everything you read on Wikipedia is fake, you see. Who knew? So yeah, it's one of those places, if I was in America, if I was doing a coast-to-coast thing, boys, I think I would...
visit?
Why not? Oh, hell yeah, man. You know me, Joe. I like my selfies. That's going to make for a good selfie at the Georgia Guidestones, right?
It'd be either that or the world's biggest ball of tinfoil.
Yeah. Number 10. Thou shalt always listen to TFR and KBS and Freaky Friday. And so saith the Wookiee. That's what it should finish. Yeah, so saith the Wookiee. So where now, ladies? I mean, gents, I mean, others. I don't know what you guys are feeling like today. Hey. It's Friday.
Hey, so Scotsman.com.
Uh-huh. Have I got this link pulled up, dude?
The Island of Gnomes found in the Firth of Forth.
Oh. Is this where my ancestors come from?
It is. I found it. It's
there they are.
It's Gnome Island.
There's Shuggy. I've been looking for him for weeks, man. Nobody's seen him for ages. I better phone my auntie.
Given its population of miniature men in red pointy hats. Did I put that link in there for you?
Yeah, I've got it, dude. I've got it. There we go.
Now, number of gnomes who have taken up residence on the rocky rocks of Swallow Craig, which sits just off Inchcolm Island in the Firth of Forth.
Damn, my base.
Appear to have multiplied. The first gnomes are said to have found their way there to the island around 2010. Some say they were taken there by fishermen, or perhaps another commercial enterprise who work on the river.
You see, the gnomes have got it covered. They know that our population's dwindling. They've all gone to a remote stone in Scotland to get jiggy with it, man. Gnome style.
But Joe Tavern.
Do you reckon Noam Chomsky's there?
Noam Chomsky?
That's an island of gnomes, right?
The operations manager at Maid of the Forth River Cruises says it remains a mystery on how just exactly the gnomes came to be in the middle of the Firth of Forth. She says, how the gnomes got there appears to be a mystery. There are various possibilities. It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun to think about who or what could have placed the gnomes there.
If I told you, I'd have to kill you. You know that, right? I'm still trying to get over Noam Chomsky, man. He's chilling out.
It's definitely, I have to say, I think we have just uncovered the birthplace of one Kev Baker.
Do you think Naomi Campbell hangs out there as well?
I don't think she's a gnome enough.
Nah.
What if this is just some very elaborate scheme by Travelocity, and they just placed these gnomes out on this island so people would see them and go like, "What the hell?" You know?
What their preposition, almost like the crystal skulls.
Maybe it's like the bottles of urine that people find when they go randonauting.
That's right, randonauting.
You see? And somebody in the chat room was asking, why do they put things like the Georgia Guidestones? Why do they tell us the truth? And it's actually part of their magic. It's called The Revelation of the Method. And it's if they basically tell you ahead of time and warn you and forearm you and you do nothing about it, well, it's almost like our free will then. We walked into it knowingly, Scott, isn't it? And you hear this thing, Revelation of the Method, all the time. You look at the likes of the Lone Gunman episode that came out before that day in September. Blatantly revealed the method then before anything had happened. And I don't know why, Scott. I'm not some kind of wizard, despite what some corners of the internet claim about me. I'm not from the Lord of the Rings. I'm no relation to Gandalf. Maybe more relation to these gnomes. But I don't know why. It just seems to multiply the kind of the magic that's going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to tell you a certain way. They just have to tell you, right? So,
and I'm telling you, it's the break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Yes.
I'm going to go and get a word with that Noam Chomsky. I'll be right back. There we go, folks. We are still live here on the tubes. Yes, the fallopian tubes. I mean YouTubes. I'm in one of those moods today, Scott. One of those moods. These people in the chat room, they kept me streaming for about 2.5 hours today. I was only going to do 5 minutes, Scott. You know how I hate streaming. You know, it really irks me. I just don't like it at all.
It really looks like it's taking its toll on you, Kev.
Yeah, it grinds on me. It's so laborious. I just wish I didn't have to do it. I'm only joking. I'm hooked, man. Used to wonder how people could stream for like 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 hours. Now I know. It's dangerous, dude. It's dangerous. It's like it's almost addictive, man. You get lost in the chat room, one comment after the other, and
next thing you know, 2.5 hours later.
Yeah, and then you look at the clock and you think, another 3 hours, and I've got Freaky Friday happening. I've got one of those tinnitus things happening in my ear right now. That's weird.
Really?
Yeah, maybe the aliens are targeting me. Gonna start glitching out.
The Storm Area 51 brain jammer.
Oh, he's got a satellite on me. That's what it is. So who have we got in the chat room? Somebody identifies as having the munchies. Hello, Mr. Munchies. Nice to meet you. Let's see. Just like the new Comet is an alien spaceship. Yeah, we talked about that one, Joe, didn't we? Or Nay plus Ultra Scotland Yard need to send Sherlock Gnome to investigate. I like it. Like it. Georgia Guide Gnomes are in Area 51. Love it.
Excellent.
Renzo. Yeah, Renzo. Check out Renzo's channel. She's another streamer. She's a KBSer. She's on the Discord server. Love her streams. Science woo, guys. Science woo. Lots of like quantum stuff, time. Yeah, and it's addictive. I get it now. I get it. Who else we got in there? We have got Mannerus. Lazy Kraken is saying streaming is an addiction. It really is. I have too many things going on to stream. See? Yeah. If a gnome goes commando, can you see his wee knees? Oh. Or his weenus. Boo. Telling you, man. Susie, you see you get withdrawals when I'm not on. I think it's me that gets withdrawals. It's crazy. It truly is.
You do.
I do. I force Joe and Scott Fridays. I have to beat them in here. Well, you will stream. You will. Don't kid. No way. Look at Joe. He's loving looking at himself in full HD now.
Yes, I do. But hey, out of curiosity, has anybody out there done any rando nodding? I'm just wondering.
That's a good... Well, I know one person that does the show went rando nodding with their daughter. Be interesting to know if they got what seems to be the traditional bottle of urine that turns up.
Can't believe that. I for one, am...
We'll bring up the rando nodding story again at some point, right? Because it's a good one to get back into. And you guys I didn't read you the full story. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I'm watching the clock here, folks. I'm going to bring us back to the mothership real soon. You see? You don't need the To the Stars Academy to get you disclosure. I'm telling you right now, TFR's got a spaceship. See? You don't need no Tom DeLonge. You get it right here. You don't need no Luis Elizondo that pretends he was in the military and that. No blue chickens. Oh, well, I lie. There are blue
Oh.
chickens. There are blue chickens.
Technically, there are blue chickens.
Here we go. I'm as bad as Wilcock. You have to pay for my blue chickens. Oh, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Mr. Wookie. Hour number 2 of Freaky Friday on your protection from deception. TFRlive.com. Don't forget to check out TFRlive.com/chat, the Wookie Cave. If you're not in the Wookie Cave, then we are simulcasting tonight on YouTube. You can always join us there as well. Go both places. Why the hell not? And make sure you thumb up and share.
I thought you were going to say go both ways. Hey, share. More the merrier, Joe, right? Inclusive, Joe. I love it, man.
Hey, sharing is caring, everyone.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. You know?
Made me sick saying that, just by the way. We've got a cornucopia, a plethora, a smattering of woo to go into,
Smattering. Is it not a smorgasbord?
if you will. But before we get into that, I got to tell you, Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, what's the Zuck been up to?
Marky went to Washington. That's the latest.
Sounds like
saga.
a nursery rhyme or something, man. Marky went to Washington.
And apparently, this is RT, he says, not a free speech platform. Facebook declares it's a publisher and can censor whomever it wants, walking into a legal trap. It says Facebook has invoked its free speech right as a publisher, insisting its ability to smear users and extremists is protected, but its legal immunity thus far is rested on a law which protects platforms, not publishers. So which is it? Facebook has declared it has the right as a publisher to exercise its own free speech and bar conservative political performance, artists say Laura Loomer, from its platform.
Good.
Even calling her a dangerous extremist
She
is allowed under the First Amendment because it's merely an opinion.
Dangerous
Facebook claims
LARPer.
in its motion to dismiss the lawsuit filed by Loomer.
Dangerous LARPer.
But Facebook has always defended itself or defined itself as a tech company providing a platform for user speech in the past, a definition that has come to appear increasingly ridiculous in the era of widespread politically motivated censorship. Now, the not-so-neutral content platform has redefined itself as a publisher, equipped with a whole new set of rights, but bereft of the protections that have kept it safe from legal repercussions in the past. Under well-established law, neither Facebook nor any publisher can be liable for failing to publish someone else's message. Facebook's motion to dismiss Loomer's defamation suit reads, justifying its decision to ban her from the platform. It also points out that terms like dangerous or promoting hate cannot be factually verified and are thus constitutionally protected opinions for a publisher, which also claiming it never applied either term to Loomer, despite banning her from its platform under its dangerous individuals policy. Now, defining itself as a publisher opens up Facebook to lawsuits for defamation and other liability for the content users publish, something they were previously immunized against. All the lies, personal attacks, and smears launched by users going forward can now be laid at Facebook's feet. That's a Pandora's box that they may not want to open, legal analyst and radio host Lionel told RT. Platforms like Twitter, Google, and until now apparently Facebook, are protected from the legal consequences of their users' speech by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Facebook even makes reference to Section 230 later in its motion, suggesting that it's trying to have its cake and eat it too. Lionel points out that Facebook could go back to life as a platform if it was willing to sacrifice its usefulness to those in power by allowing some political speech to reach users and block the rest. So there you go. So what do? Do they go down that road, or do they reestablish themselves as a publisher and then get massacred by class action lawsuits? And
but yeah, it's going to be like the banks. It's like when you see HSBC getting fined billions. Mark Zuckerberg will be able to look down the crack in his escape chute and find the money to pay that off. Is it going to dent them? You know, have they got a kind of war chest to pay this off? He seems confident if he's going there, Scott. A bit ballsy for the old Zuckerberg. You know, Zuck.
Not to mention the fact that,
Zuck I won't say it.
That's what I was sitting there thinking. I was like, that's a bold move. It's a bold maneuver for the Zuck.
But we could also hit back. The brain, of course, even in her depleted state right now, is still quite effective at throwing some brain bombs at me. And she just nailed one. And she says, well, if it's fake news, well, then they can't push the fake news narrative anymore because we're providing fiction to a publisher. What's the problem? Why are you censoring us? We're just writing fiction. We're writing fiction. We're musing. No reason to censor us now. It's just fiction. You're a publisher.
They're going to do whatever they're going to do. That's how powerful these big tech corporations are, Scotty. And they've got enough politicians in their pockets.
Obviously.
Yeah, there's no difference. You can't fit a cigarette paper in between the politicians and big tech anymore. They've merged, It's that like pure fascism, as Mussolini said.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously the Zuck wouldn't have made this decision without weighing, how he benefits from it and how Facebook's going to end up benefiting from it in the end, right? So, yeah, so he's not just making these decisions.
Wouldn't it be interesting though if they do go about defining themselves as a publisher, but still win with regards to this lawsuit? You know what I mean? It's like maybe the government gives them their cake and they eat it too. I mean, it's very possible.
That's very possible, and that's the danger you see whenever you see corporations and government, in bed with each other,
which is
basically.
where we're at. I mean, we are at that time, big time.
Because the government can just be like, you know what, we'll let you operate outside of the normal rules that everyone else has to follow, just as long as you're you give us everything we need and hook us up with whatever we need you to do. So,
but if you're a good little user, a good little drone over on Facebook, you'll get your Zuck buck. They'll pay you for being a good little user, for liking all the right posts and only going to the authoritative sources, And if you see any of that,
I got 5 Zuck bucks, yay!
Woohoo! Yee! Awesome. You can see it though, right? It'll get to the point where
I can afford that propeller for my tinfoil hat.
Yeah, you'll build up Zuck bucks, but what you'll get in return is maybe like 10 minutes in virtual reality to take you away from this lunacy, to take you out of idiocracy and put you into a virtual world.
How nefarious is that?
Yeah, you have to like so many posts a week. If you can work your way through 1 million posts or something, you'll get the little bar building up on the side. And of course, some posts that you like will get you more points than others. So that's going to have that dopamine burst in there, isn't it? You're going to think to yourself, oh, this is a good one. This is a really progressive post. I'm going to like this. I'm going to share it. Whoa, 10,000 Zuck points. I was going to go home, but now I'll just keep clicking now. Keep me here. And all for that 10 minutes of escapism. And then just when you're stepping up to go away after your 10 minutes in VR with AOC getting naughty, you think to yourself, just another few posts and then I'll go home. Dang. There you go. That'd be a good short story. I think we've got the beginnings, right?
Yes, I do. I think so.
Yeah, there you go.
So it should be okay. That's what I'm trying to say. It should be okay if they truly are a publisher, because you're just peddling fiction at a publisher. That's okay.
But it's not. It's okay if you're an authoritative source peddling non-facts, Joe.
So you have to be vetted first.
Yes. Yes, you have to go through Snopes. You have to go through Snopes kind of...
would be taken.
Well, remember, Facebook are also setting up their Supreme Court. They're literally, like, Scott, you've heard about this, right? They're setting up, like, a minimum of 11 people, and I think they want 30 people to sit on their Supreme Court. Now,
the 30%
any,
So,
Supreme
so
Court.
that they can vote if a post is allowed to, be posted or not. What they vote on it now? Is that a thing?
hang on. There we go. Facebook plans launch of its own Supreme Court for handling takedown appeals. Says here,
So he's trying
Facebook,
to get-
which has managed to transcend geographical borders to draw in population equal to roughly 1/3 of all human life on Earth, many of which are made up by bot accounts, folks. Highly inflated, that has made its final charter for a Supreme Court of Facebook public. Now, the company pledges to launch its initiative by November of next year. But it gets weirder, boys, because I'll read a bit more, but when you find out that this is going to be the first Facebook vote, every user on Facebook has a vote, and they're going to do it like reality TV style. So there's going to be these people nominated, and I was having a laugh saying, who's going to be on there? Is it going to be like David Brock? We're going to have like George Soros, one of the candidates. Just having a laugh with it. But you're literally going to have a vote. And of course, you can trust Facebook with your vote, right? They wouldn't skew the numbers. They wouldn't tinker with it or stuff like that. It says the new oversight board will have 5 key powers, according to the charter that Facebook released yesterday. It can request that Facebook provide information it needs in timely manner. It can make interpretations of Facebook's standards and guidelines in light of Facebook's articulated values, and it can instruct the company to allow or remove content, to uphold or reverse decisions leading to content being permitted or removed, and to issue prompt written explanation of the board's decision. And it goes on to tell you how Mark and the team will respect any decision that comes from this independent Supreme Court. Independent?
You know what's insane about this? If you just kind of sit back and look at this from a much larger kind of perspective, this is actually pretty crazy, because first of all, it's the mindset that Facebook almost sees itself as powerful as a nation, right? That they have that they're at that level to where they need to implement like a branch of government within their corporate structure or within their corporate system. So they think of themselves almost like a sovereign national entity, right, in themselves, but it's like this weird hybrid of corporatism and this thing of we're above everybody, we're above the law, we can operate in this thing. And then it also makes you think about how much of everyone's lives is actually online, to the point to where
that's how powerful they are, Scott.
They see themselves at, like I said, like this nation, or like this that they hold that much control over people.
It's like Google. I call them in Google the masters of the data. That's what it is. The holders of the info. And that is so powerful.
I mean, pretty much when it's to the point to when you're getting cut off from Facebook, like when Facebook shuts you down, that's usually, in a chain of events to where all your other stuff is going to get shut down as well. It's not just Facebook. So it's almost like they want that ability to be able to just disappear people off the internet, and they'll have their Supreme Court or whatever decide, if that's the course they're going to take with somebody. It's kind of creepy. Actually,
kind of creepy. It's total creepy.
It's super creepy, right? And so,
what do you make of it, Joe? The Ministry of Truth run by Facebook?
Well, it's not something that we haven't seen coming, for sure.
This is how ballsy they're getting, man. They're marching up there to Washington.
I'm not. If that's the case, and it is ruled a publisher, and you can sue, how do they stand a chance? It doesn't make sense that they didn't have that planned out before they said it. So
either way, like I said, Zuck sees that this is not going to be an issue for Facebook in the long run, or he wouldn't have made that choice.
Exactly.
He's got enough of the politicians in his pocket, dude.
Well, right. And then, of course, they're only one piece of the pie. How does this set precedent for everybody else?
I think in their minds, well, and also I was about to say, I think in their minds, and in the government's mind too. I mean, since we're seeing this, emerging happening, the data's worth it. Anything that they may take a hit from, like some lawsuits or something, that is chump change to them, because the data is worth much more to them than any lawsuit or anything that is thrown at them. They'll just continue what they're doing, and they'll work around it any way possible. And like I said, they'll have a set of standards for themselves that others don't have. And yeah, so
I'm just laughing at King Sweet. He's talking about he needs to go and dump a week's worth of bottles of urine around locations for all those randonauts out there. And that might seem like a random comment, but we'll get to that. We're going to bring up the randonauts later in the show. But Scotty Lopez, take us back towards that woo that we love on a Friday, man. You sent a story here.
And this is a nugget of gold right here.
Yeah, this is. It's truly good one, man.
Yes. So, I was just cruising around on Mysterious Universe, and
as you do,
as I do, and this caught my eye because, who doesn't love warp drives, and who doesn't love somebody trying to make a warp drive in their garage?
Why not?
Why not? Capitalism in full force, my friends. If there's a need for something, somebody's going to try to make it. And, there's a need for a warp drive, so let's see if this guy has what it takes. So this is from Brent Swancer. And it says, the strange story of the guy making a warp drive in his garage. We all have hobbies and side projects we'd like to work on in our free time. For most, these are merely diversions, but in some cases, they can lead to big things down the line. While there are plenty of pastimes to while the time away, perhaps none is as strange and ambitious as one man's quest to create a warp drive, like something straight out of a sci-fi film, right in his own garage. Yet this is exactly what one determined scientist has been spending all of his time and money on recent years, and it is a hobby that is as fascinating as it is strange. Starting from 2012, University of Nebraska science professor, former Air Force meteorologist, and complete Star Trek dork, David Perez, got his vision in his mind, a vision that the spectacular warp drives so common to science fiction were not only feasible, but that he could possibly create one himself. It would be an ambitious undertaking and the holy grail of space travel, and the key that would unlock our ability to travel to the stars and open the larger universe up to us, bending the very fabric of time and space to allow us to jump across vast distances in no time at all. So he had this vision, his own plans for how it would all work. So he must have secured a top secret laboratory for his endeavor, right? He must be well funded to be working on what is potentially the greatest invention mankind has ever known, right? Well, no. Actually, his base of operations is out of his garage. While it is incredibly complex beyond the scope of this article, the concept of the warp drive essentially involves compressing space by creating a warp bubble around the spacecraft to allow it to achieve speeds that are faster than light. The universal speed of light proposed by Einstein. It works by theoretically warping the space and contracting it in front of the vessel, only to expand it at the back, pushing the ship through space and time at velocities previously unheard of. And until now, it has always been firmly in the realm of science fiction stories, but Perez believes he knows better. Interestingly, His fascination with the warp drive technology and engineering in general came about after he had an encounter with a UFO when he was only 16 years old, of which he says, "I sighted a UFO, and I can describe to you in great detail what I saw. That was one of the driving forces and what pushed me towards engineering and the sciences, and learning as much as I could about every discipline possible because they're all interconnected. If I were just in the physics discipline, I would have never figured this out. It would have meant sticking with chemical, rocketry, and maybe get into the ion drive. But you get into this exotic stuff, and you're going to be labeled as a weirdo, as an outcast. Not that has occurred."
We like pseudoscientists. Pseudoscientists' lives matter. We like them here.
So, cool on him. He just like, screw it. I'm going to take in as much information as possible, look into as many different things, and we'll go with it. So it says he was further inspired by other strange events as well. One case from 1970 involved a pilot by the name of Bruce Gernon, who claimed that his small plane had fallen through some sort of vortex in a thunderstorm. Oh, I've heard of that story. That's a good one.
Sounds almost Bermuda Triangle-y,
Yes, it was very Bermuda Triangle-y, because he was it says only to be spat out hundreds of miles away nearly instantaneously. So I think there was like a 300-mile instantaneous blip that this dude went through. Like he went through what I guess would appear to be like from what I remember it being described, he said it was like a fog tunnel.
Oh, yeah, right. I think I heard that described as well, yeah.
And like only 3 minutes had passed or something, and when he came out the other end, he was 300 miles away, and he was just in a single propeller aircraft. So, something happened. Something very interesting.
How am I going to get back? We're out of fuel. Damn.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So he looked into this case, this professor. Says, while this may seem to be a typical unsubstantiated piece of spooky paranormal literature, Perez believes that this was evidence that the sheer power of the thunderstorm had created a naturally occurring warp bubble and catapulted the pilot over that distance, and that this could be potentially recreated in the laboratory. You know what? I love the way this guy thinks. I really do. Because he's also a meteorologist and he's thinking about the power of thunderstorms and the power of Mother Nature in general, and stuff like things I've talked about before on the show, like blue jets coming out of the top of thunderstorms, how I've always put my little MH370 conspiracy hat on and speculated that maybe they were blipped out of existence or something by one of these powerful natural forces. But yeah, I do. I like the way this guy thinks about it. It says, in his opinion, this was proof that these warp bubbles occur naturally and can be emulated with the right equipment and know-how. The theory of a warp drive itself is not technically entirely an impossibility, as some scientists over the years have theorized on how it could work. For instance, Mexican theoretical physicist Miguel Alcubierre in 1994 surmised that Einstein's equations could be extrapolated to show that a 3D piece of space-time could be technically compressed and then expanded to generate a placid, flat region in the middle, a real-life warp bubble, with 2 points in space-time essentially drawn together like two opposite pieces of a folded sheet of paper, all while staying within the laws of physics. The drawback was that this would require a lot of energy, to the tune of perhaps even all of the available energy in the universe to pull off, making it rather non-efficient, but possible was good enough for Perez. He became convinced that not only was the warp drive technology possible, but that it could be developed right there in his own backyard and could be engineered to need no more energy than the mass of a star, of even merely the mass of the Voyager spacecraft, which could be feasibly provided with electromagnetic power, like in storms. To this aim, he went about converting his garage into a makeshift laboratory, which he calls the headquarters for space warp dynamics. Ooh, I like that.
Nice. SWD, that's where it all goes down. As long as the dude never appears on Apex TV, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. You don't want to, any time traveler, any self-respecting time traveler doesn't go on Apex TV.
Exactly right. Then again,
It triggered me the other day. I'm still getting over it.
On.
What's that, Joe?
when are you going to have Apex TV on?
Right after I've had David Wilcock and some of his chickens, right? But we are halfway through this week's Freaky Friday already. So halfway gone, another half still to go. And don't forget, the Paranormal Portal comes up on the Truth Frequency Radio right after Freaky Friday. So there's no need to go anywhere. So please, please, please stay tuned. Go and grab yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee. Have a fat one, roll one. I know that's a bit like size shaming, the size of reefers that you smoke, but that's what I do. Maybe you're going to have a beer, maybe a whiskey. I don't know. Whatever you get up to. We'll be back in 3 short minutes. There we go. There we go, ladies and gents. That's us. We're out of here. No, I'm only joking. We're only halfway done, guys. Come on, Joe. Where's Ange tonight? She's usually got us some really good woo, man.
I got something here. Mysterious magnetic pulses discovered on Mars.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, nice.
Cool.
Yes,
I know what done that. I had Captain K on the show. I know all about those magnetic pulses on Mars.
Do you? It says at midnight,
No.
the red planet's magnetic field sometimes starts to pulsate in ways that they've never before been observed.
Pulsating Mars.
The cause is currently unknown. That's just one of the stunning preliminary findings from NASA's very first robotic geophysicist there, the InSight lander.
Oh, you're not quoting those liars at NASA, are you, Joe?
I am. Since touching down in November 2018, this spacecraft has been gathering intel to help scientists better understand our neighbor's planet's innards and evolution, such as taking the temperature of its upper crust, recording the sounds of alien quakes, and measuring the strength and direction of the planet's magnetic field. As revealed during a handful of presentations this week at a joint meeting of the European Planetary Science Congress and the American Astronomical Society, the early data suggests the magnetic machinations of Mars are marvelously mad. And
They're mad, Joe. They're mad.
in addition to the odd magnetic pulsations, the lander's data shows that the Martian crust is far more powerfully magnetic than scientists expected. What more, the lander has picked up on a very peculiar electrically conductive layer, about
Nice.
2.5 miles thick, deep beneath the planet's surface. It's far too early to say with any certainty, but there's a chance that this layer could represent a global reservoir of liquid water.
There we go. There we go. There we go. My man Musk will be loving some of that, man.
On Earth, groundwater is hidden in a sea locked up in sand, soil, and rocks. If something similar is found on Mars, then we shouldn't be surprised, says Jan Radebaugh, a planetary scientist at Brigham Young University who is not involved with the work. But if these results bear out, a liquid region at this scale on modern Mars has enormous implications for the potential for life, past or present or future.
See, Joe, this is where it goes wrong, right? Because it's like Lake Vostok down in Antarctica.
Oh, exactly right.
They could get down to it, and yeah, all that fresh water, brilliant. But what's in it? What microbes are kicking about in there that maybe we don't want to bring to the surface? Maybe they've been held in some kind of cryogenic frozen state below that crust.
And then it melts your face off.
Yes, man, they're like face huggers. You don't want the face huggers coming out the water, dude.
The brain suckers. What are they doing? They're starving.
See, and then you end up with your Georgia Guidestones, Scott. See, I know that's how it happens.
Who's the guy that has to be the volunteer to take the first drink of water? You know what I mean?
Do you really volunteer when you've all got a neural link? Is it really volunteering when you've got the AI in your mind?
You're right.
You might think you're volunteering.
Yeah, it's like,
Here we go,
just
boys. Here we go. Here we go. Get ready with your Wookiee, Scott. Here we go.
So we're past the halfway point here in Freaky Friday on your protection from deception, TFRlive.com. You You can join us in the chat room, tfrlive.com/chat, the Wookiee Cave. And we're talking about these weird magnetic anomalies that have been happening on Mars, according to National Geographic. And it talks about a tale of two worlds. It says Earth has a major global magnetic field thanks to its rotation and churning, iron-rich liquid outer core. We know that this field. And by the way, how do they know? You been down there? Anybody? Anyone?
Like what comprises of the core?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, we bounced this off, and based on what we get back, we can tell it's iron. Really?
I know, but here he goes. He's gonna. You see, you think I'm getting skeptical, Scott? You know,
I just
Joe
hate
here
that.
between
I
his
hate
carbon
that,
dating.
you know.
What you try to say, Joe? What you try to suggest? You try to say something with the model of the Earth wrong?
I'm saying that H.G. Wells probably had a better idea. You know, the journey to the center of the Earth, that kind of thing. Maybe there is.
I've come to the kind of, you know, where I stand on this. It's not so much a hollow Earth situation. We're talking about a porous Earth situation.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah, so you don't have to be down at the core, you know what I mean, or whatever, for it to be just hollow down there. It can only be like what they're talking about with Mars, you know, 2 miles down. You know, I mean, that's really not far when you think about how large the Earth is. But
Yeah.
2 miles down is actually pretty far for a person, you know, for a separation between whatever's on the surface and what's below that. So,
Right.
it makes you wonder. You have to start, you know, throwing that whole thing into the conversation thing of underground civilizations, all of that stuff. What if there's much more going on Mars than, you know, meets the eye, right?
Told you, like Captain Kramer on the Earth Defense Force, and he transferred to the Martian Defense Force.
We're only scanning the surface. We're only seeing what is presented back at us through cameras or whatever. But what is under the surface of Mars? What is down in these areas? And now, you know, they're picking up these strange magnetic things, which show obviously something is, you know, we have underground oceans is what it sounds like.
Well, it says here the history of Mars's magnetic field is similarly archived in its crust, just like Earth's. And that was thanks to data obtained by the Mars Global Surveyor, the orbiter. And it says here, Robert Lillis, a planetary space physicist at University of California, Berkeley, said the same zoo of magnetic materials that exist on Earth exist on Mars. He said the orbiter detected the red planet's magnetism from 60 to 250 miles above the surface, and it found that the crustal magnetic field is 10 times stronger than Earth's is when measured from the same height above the surface. This suggests that once upon a time, Mars also had a major global magnetic field. Unlike Earth, though Mars got unlucky, says here around 4 billion years ago, its convulsing outer core appears to have seized up, causing a collapse in its global magnetic field. Left with a weak magnetic shield to defend itself, an outpouring of radiation from the sun, known as the solar wind, gradually stripped away much of its ancient atmosphere, turning a potential life-supporting water-rich world into a cold desert. How do people know this? Just out of curiosity.
They just do, Joe. They just do. They're an authoritative source.
That's right. I got to trust them. Trust the plan. Grasping why these two planets had such different fates require the best possible measurements of Mars' magnetic ghosts. But from orbit, the strength of this remnant magnetic field has poor resolution. It's like looking at a crowd of people from far away. If many are wearing red shirts and a few are wearing blue, a camera at a distance will largely register the preponderance of red. But we get close with the same camera, and those all-important blue hues will be more clearly seen. So InSight's magnometer, the first placed on a Martian surface, gave scientists their best look at the crustal magnetic field, and it gave them a bit of a shock. The magnetic field near the robot was around 20 times stronger than what was predicted based on past orbital measurements. Brain, who is familiar with the InSight data, said this strong, stable magnetic signal is coming from rocks near InSight, but where they are deep underground or near to the surface is currently unclear. The identification matters, Burns says, because it's coming from younger rocks near the surface. It would imply that a strong magnetic field persisted around Mars for longer than we currently think. So that could be too. But these wobbles in the magnetic field happen at local midnight. So at the stroke of midnight.
That's from woo right there. Come on.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Did they have like some kind of call to magnetism come midnight? Do they have like some kind of wobble that they go out and maybe, well, they don't come out from their underground caverns, right?
Yeah, it's weird. It says InSight is near Mars' equator and in the same geographic position on Earth at that time of night. You don't see those same magnetic pulsations. Nighttime pulsations on Earth tend to happen at higher latitudes and are linked to northern and southern lights. Right now, the ones on Mars have no clear source. But scientists have at least one suspect. It says, although it's no longer has a potent global magnetic field, Mars is surrounded by a weak magnetic bubble created as the solar wind interacts with its thin atmosphere. This bubble is in turn compressed by the solar wind's magnetic field, causing part of the bubble to take on a tail-type shape. At midnight, InSight spots on Mars is aligned with this tail. And as it passes through the tail, maybe plucking the surface magnetic field like a guitar string.
Wow, 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 wow.
So there you go.
There you go. But it's okay, Joe. It's okay. Because the Discord server, and anyone who wants to come and hang out on the KBS Discord server, totally free of charge. It's just like a chat room, basically. All you got to do is email me at kbsdiscord@protonmail.com. And I have got like the digital library of Alexandria at my fingertips now. It's great. Jason in the chat room, he said, did you see the story about eating bugs on Mars? We have to take a look at this, right? How humans could survive on Mars by eating insects. Oh, yes. Give me one of those big, healthy-looking Australian witchetty grubs any day. Ugh. Oh, no, thank you. Colonies would need to be lab-grown meat. Would need lab-grown meat, tunnel-grown crops, and cricket farms, a study finds. Crickets? Really? Okay, it says here, the prospect of a human settlement on Mars took a giant leap towards becoming real today. A strategy was developed for surviving on the red planet, and it involves eating beasties. Essential resources such as energy, water, and oxygen are believed to be in abundant supplies on Mars. Think about that, folks, right? How long ago did they say, like, Mars, totally inhabitable, you know? Nothing there, barren wasteland. And now it's like rich. Yeah, it's rich in energy, water, oxygen. You know, the only thing that's missing is life. It says,
it's like when America finally figures out that a country has oil, they're like, it's rich. It's rich in resources.
Oh, yeah. Ready for the reaping. There we go. It says,
Exactly.
It says, but a lack of viable food source has been long seen as an insurmountable hurdle. But scientists have now said that the key to thriving on the famously crop-light planet would involve snacking on crickets and growing meat in a lab. Well, we're pretty much going that way down here as well with the growing meat, right?
If you've already ate the Impossible Whopper, then you're good to go.
Yeah, if you devised a plan to sustain a 1 million strong colony, where do I sign up? Where do I sign up? This is KB settlement. He added, bugs are the way to go. If people can't get over, or if people can get over the gross factor. Yeah, hunger will do that to you. It'll pretty much do that to you, you know. Establishing an insect farm is claimed to be an efficient use of resources, as it would require a tiny amount of water while providing calorie-dense meal. Flour created from mashed up crickets was a particular recipe offered by the scientists who hailed the edible or edibility of the six-legged creature. I'll take their word for that, right? That doesn't look like dinner to me. Looks like something you hit with a shoe. Yeah, that shoe. That thing there needs the shoe, right?
It definitely needs a shoe.
It doesn't need putting on a sandwich, Joe. It doesn't need garnishing in any way. No. Efforts to develop a self-sufficient call. In fact, let me stop there, right? See if we can see if we're like going to be forced to eating like insects and stuff like this when we're going to Mars. I would really challenge the fact that we're able to go to Mars in the first place.
Exactly.
Okay. But should we really be going somewhere if all we can do is like barely scrape by on insects for dinner?
Crickets.
This is crazy, Joe.
Here's another interesting thought. Do they even understand what would happen, say, if crickets went rogue on Mars, right?
Oh, sentient crickets.
Well, like I'm just saying, like
radiation gets to them and they grow.
Well, I mean, we know how fast insects adapt, right? So if a couple were to get out of the colony or whatever and somehow survive the...
That ain't the kind of thing you eat for dinner. I'm sorry, but that's a cry for help. You don't eat that.
What if they end up triggering some kind of a crazy like cricket swarm on Mars because they end up becoming the most like dominant organism or something like that. You know what I mean? Just in sheer numbers, basically. Hey, they also have the tardigrades that are up there. Remember that supposedly Israel crashed their
probe.
Their probe, and they had a bunch of sea bears, or they're called, tardigrades.
Scotty,
the most hardy.
Scotty, get this, dude. Remember Dr. David Warmflash? Who can forget that name, right? He emailed me the other day, Scott, and he's going to be coming back on the show. Not to talk about his book or anything, but because that Israeli space program that you're talking about, that mission, the people behind that, they've kind of launched a new idea, a new plan now, and it's called Let's Rover the Moon. And it just so happens Dr. Warmflash is being given permission to be the spokesman in like Europe and America about this project. And there's not much out there on the internet right now. Literally, we're going to be one of the first English-speaking programs to find out about this new kind of mission, this new initiative to... It pretty much says it in the title. I don't think there's anything ambiguous. It's going to be about sending rovers to the lunar surface. So really excited about that. Big time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he'd worked on the Phobos Grunt mission. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Yep, he'd worked on that one as well. And I know people say, oh, he's worked for NASA. Oh.
That's right.
They're not all bad people, folks. Dr. Warmflash is... he's cool. Cool character. Cool name, Joe. I mean, come on. Warmflash, it sounds like something out of a Marvel comic, man.
How can you not like it?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So where do we go now, boys? We've got so many tabs here. I honestly...
I have something here, and it's applicable to old Scotty boy here. Tech Explorer. Wearable brain-machine interface could control a wheelchair, a vehicle, or a computer. Ooh. Oh, it's coming, Scotty. It's coming. It says combining new classes of nanomembrane electrodes with flexible electronics and a deep learning algorithm could help disabled people wirelessly control an electric wheelchair, interact with a computer, or operate with a small robotic vehicle without donning a bulky hair electrode cap or contending wires.
Nice.
By providing a fully portable wireless brain interface, the wearable system could offer an improvement over conventional electroencephalography for measuring signals from visually evoked potentials in the human brain. The system's ability to measure EEG signals from BMI has been evaluated with 6 human subjects, but has not been studied with disabled individuals. The project, conducted by researchers from Georgia Institute of Technology, University of Kent, and Wichita State University, was reported in Nature Machine Intelligence on September 11th.
Wow.
Quote, yes, this work reports fundamental strategies to design an ergonomic portable EEG system for a broad range of assistive devices, smart home systems, and neurogaming interfaces.
There's a little market, that one, eh?
That was it right there for you.
I am definitely in the market for some neuro gaming action.
The primary innovation is the development of a fully integrated package of high-resolution EEG monitoring systems and circuits within a miniaturized skin conformal system. BMI is an essential part of rehab technology that allows those with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. I'm not even going to get in there. Chronic stroke or other severe motor disabilities to control prosthetic systems. Gathering brain signals known as steady-state virtually evoked potentials now requires use of an electro-studded hair cap that uses wet electrodes, adhesives, and wires to connect with computer equipment that interprets the signals. Yao and his collaborators are taking advantage of a new class of flexible wireless sensors and electronics that can be easily applied to the skin. This system includes three primary components: highly flexible, hair-mounted electrodes that make direct contact with the scalp through the hair, an ultra-thin membrane electrode, and soft, flexible circuitry with a Bluetooth telemetry unit. The recorded EEG data from the brain is processed in the flexible circuitry and then wirelessly delivered to a tablet computer via Bluetooth from up to 15 meters away. So beyond the sensing requirements, detecting and analyzing SSVEP signals have been challenging because of the low signal amplitude, which is in the range of tens of microvolts, similar to electrical noise in the body. Researchers also must deal with variations in human brains. Yet accurately measuring the signals is essential to determining what the user wants the system to do. To address the challenges, the researchers' teams turn to deep learning neural network algorithms running on the flexible circuitry. So this is commonly used to classify pictures of everyday things such as cats and dogs. That's what deep learning methods are. And they're used to analyze the EEG signals. So like pictures of a dog, which can have a lot of variations, EEG signals have the challenge of high variability. So deep learning methods have proven to work well with pictures, and they're hoping that it works well with EEG signals.
That's how they do audio as well, Joe. Remember we talk about the algorithms listens to what you've said on a stream and things. It doesn't literally listen. It knows the wave pattern of certain words within certain parameters. And it knows the probability of one word following the next. So it knows literally ahead of time what's been said anyway. So this makes perfect sense. And I was saying to King in the chat room, and he's right. He's like, oh, here we go. They're dressing it up as, helping people. And I get that. Absolutely, I get that. But at the same time, though, I have to be very aware of the fact that it will help people that are in need of this. So, it's a two-way street, and we all know that. But
if it's afforded to them, because, oftentimes this is just technology that the well-to-do can afford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says here, the system was evaluated with 6 subjects. The deep learning algorithm with real-time data classification could control an electric wheelchair and a small robotic vehicle. So typical EEG systems, they say, must cover the majority of the scalp to get signals, but potential users may be sensitive about wearing them. So this miniaturized wearable soft device is fully integrated and designed to be comfortable for long-term use. It basically sticks right to the scalp.
Not like Musk's that goes right in with a surgical kind of right through the skull into the neurons. None like that.
See, the nice thing about this is you can take it off.
Yeah.
Neural lace, I think, once you're in.
Oh, once it's in, it's in. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no going back. See, that's the problem with that, in my humble opinion.
Look at Joey squirming in the chair at the thought of it. He's like, oh.
Unless you decide you're gonna get ballsy and just kind of yank it out and see what happens. But
Just go full AI. Just storm the AI. You need to embrace it to storm it. I'm joking, folks. Come on. Joe knows that I like to play devil's advocate.
eye. Yes, Kev is like in your mind's eye.
Yeah.
Just picture yourself.
That's
Naruto.
right.
I am the AI's advocate. That's what I am.
Yes, I am at breakneck speed in my Naruto configuration.
It's nice in my virtual world, Joe.
Okay, so since we're talking about Woo,
Yeah, man, we need woo.
the Daily Star,
Oh, really?
mystery craft explodes over Area 51 in, quote, best proof USAF is testing alien tech.
All right. Best proof ever. Must see.
Says here, exclusive, a renowned conspiracy theorist.
Oh, they always start like that, don't they? A renowned one. Is it Scott Waring? Is it third?
I'll get there.
Okay.
Photo
Wait,
show a
before we
black
get there.
stripe.
What do you think, Scott? Third phase of the moon, Scott Waring? You know, Secure Team 10. Who are we going for? I'm going for Scott Waring.
I'm okay. If you're gonna go for Scott Waring, I'll go for Secure Team.
Okay, here we go. Come on, Joe. Enlighten us.
Here we go. A baffling video shows the moment a suspect's state-of-the-art spy plane exploded over Area 51 has been labeled the best evidence ever of the U.S. government testing alien technology. Today marks the day of Storm Area 51, the viral phenomenon which has seen millions of people sign up to the Facebook event to raid the secretive base in Nevada. But while it's highly unlikely anyone will get close to the base, the military has even warned that they'll shoot whoever tries. And there's been increased speculation over what's inside the facility. Now, conspiracy theorists have long claimed it could house alien technology and even extraterrestrial life forms. But third phase of the moon had
There we go. There we go. There it is.
top secret plane flying over Area 51.
Dude, that channel, like, had somebody driving along in their car, and there was like this rectangular shaped UFO that was keeping speed with them all the way, just happened to be going the same speed as their car. And you know what it actually was, right? It was the iPhone that was sitting in like the bit between the chairs, and it was reflecting off the windscreen. Dude, come on. I've looked at this video. I don't know if it's this. On you go, man.
The object appeared to be on fire and even had smoke emanating from it.
Come on.
It was quickly likened to the TR-3B spy plane.
What?
The TR-3B spy plane. The name given to the craft believed by the conspiracy world to have been created in a secret with state-of-the-art technology by the U.S. Air Force and alien technology.
So says to the Stars Academy, surely.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Oh, dude, this is up there with serious, man. Come on. Scott, at what point here do we see like smoke and things?
Kevin Scott, it's not every day you see a TR-3B explode.
And it's not every day. That's a TR-3B is meant to be triangular, right?
That's not it. Go down.
All right, sorry, dude.
That's it.
Okay, right. Okay.
It's going down. Look at it's a star destroyer.
No way, dude.
I can hear it's dun 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 dun. Come on, it's a star destroyer.
Dude.
It's the same channel that like interviews the blue chicken people, dude. Come on.
Would you stop? That has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
By the way, though, third phase of the moon does not condone any raid on Area 51. So there you go.
So safe.
So say a third phase of the moon.
Yeah.
And by the way, the U.S. Navy has confirmed that the leaked UFO footage is real. So says the Metro.
See, this is a bit weird, right? I mean, we already got told it got released from like this Pentagon project.
Why are you denying?
Right. Okay, listen,
saying?
I'll tell you right why I'm a little skeptical about this whole angle of disclosure. A guy that should be really, really happy and encouraged and really enthusiastic. But we've done it before. We've looked at who's on the board of To the Stars Academy, and we've got Tom DeLonge, who I think has been used unknowingly to him, what you'd call a useful idiot in an intelligence operation. And it's like a who's who from the CIA has hitched their wagon to Tom DeLonge. You've got Hal Putoff in there when he's not been staring at goats and mind controlling people. Well, now he's to be trusted giving us the UFO information. You've got all these other cats that just happen to have that they're still contracted to the Defense Department and things like that, and they can't tell you what they're working on. That's Luis Elizondo, the face of this whole kind of movement. Color me a little skeptical, okay? Just a little bit skeptical, but the same people or the same agency that's helped to occult all of the UFO knowledge, if you look into ufology, the CIA, instrumental in hiding it all. Yet now that the disclosure is starting to come from people that used to be in the CIA, people don't question it. And I'm not saying the stuff that they're showing us, Joe, isn't real, but what are they preparing us for? You know, it's not for their benefit.
Yeah, it's certainly something that has to be considered, you know.
And when you see that they're lackeys in the mainstream media, you talk about the Mockingbird press, they work for the intelligence agencies, and they all changed like that the minute that this crew started putting out the information.
Yeah.
So you have to question it.
It was very weird how the media went from, laughing at UFOs and making jokes about it. And it was just ha 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 funny subject to all of a sudden this story about UFOs. Well, that's different.
Trust these people.
Maybe there is something to the UFOs, and let's have these interviews on primetime TV and all of that stuff.
Tucker Carlson.
And it's like, yeah, Tucker, and this Elizondo guy was all over CNN. All of the networks were pushing this whole alien thing, pushing this whole UFO thing, just because, that story came out about that Pentagon program, and, how even legit is that? Do you think? You know what I mean? Did that Pentagon?
Well, I know that in one of the Freedom of Information requests, Scott, and it was a spokesperson came out twice, and John Greenwald, the Black Vault, how he asked for all the documents, things like that. Sure. I really like the way he does it. He tries to he doesn't put speculation out there. He goes with what he can prove. And they denied not once but twice that Luis Elizondo held the position within that program that he's talking about. They didn't deny that he worked for the Pentagon. They didn't deny who he was, but they said he did not hold the position that he's telling people that he did. So I don't think there's any denial that the program was real anymore, especially now that they're admitting that, these are genuine.
Most people do that, by the way. They'll do that. They say they're credentialed in some way, shape, or form, government-wise, and they're not. It just, are they civil service? Yes. Did they work for this? Yes.
And the thing is, Joe, he's still got a contract with the Department of Defense, right? And when asked, in fact, that's the thing, the shows he appears on, nobody asks him what he's still contracted to the Defense Department for. So who knows, dude? It feels like a very controlled release. Something going on. Something weird.
For sure.
Right. I don't know what's happening here. Did we miss the break or something? Because the clock still says we're live.
Wow, that's weird. I didn't even hear any music.
No.
Yeah, I didn't hear music. Oh, yeah. I think we just went on right through the break.
Hey, sounds good to us.
I'll read kind of yeah, it says we're on here. We'll reconnect We'll just reconnect the host thing. Scotty? Or 3, 2, 1 here. Let's do it. It's on air, it says, so let's just do it.
All right.
It is the final hour of Freaky Friday on your protection from deception, TFRlive.com. And boy, oh boy, still 1 hour to go. I have in the grab bag here, guys, a live science piece that we were going to get to earlier in the week that we just never did, about a lost continent hiding beneath Europe. And now this is interesting, but of course, the Earth looked a lot different pre-flood. And I would imagine that there'd be probably a lot of land masses that used to exist that now don't with the creation of the oceans. Only here it does show oceans, but just a very, very different setup. It says Greater Adria existed hundreds of millions of years ago after it broke off from the supercontinent Gondwana. Gondwana.
Sounds like something out of like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings or something, doesn't it?
Yes, there's a lot below. Researchers have created the most detailed reconstruction of it. The lost continent of Greater Adria emerged about 240 million years ago after it broke off from Gondwana, a southern supercontinent made up of Africa, Antarctica, South America, Australia, and other land masses, as Science magazine reported.
That was where the Chattahoochee ruled.
That was their domain.
That was, Joe. I'm telling you, man. I got a feeling there. The Chattahoochee, they contacted me, dude.
Yes, absolutely. The Greater Adria was large, extending from what is now the Alps all the way to Iran, but not all of it was above the water. That means it was likely a string of islands or archipelagos, said lead author, Douwe van Hinsbergen, the chair in global tectonics and paleogeography at the Department of Earth Sciences at Utrecht University in the Netherlands. This is a good scuba diving region. Now, Hinsbergen and his team spent a decade collecting and analyzing rocks that used to be part of the ancient continent. The mountain belts where these Greater Adrian rocks are found span about 30 different countries. Every country has their own geological survey and their own maps and their own stories and their own continents, he said. With this study, we've brought all of that together in one big picture. He said, Earth is covered in large tectonic plates that move relative to each other. Greater Adria belonged to the African tectonic plate, but was not a part of the African continent since there was an ocean between them, which was slowly sliding beneath the Eurasian tectonic plate in what is now southern Europe. It says around 100 million to 120 million years ago, Greater Adria smashed into Europe and began diving beneath it. But some of the rocks were too light and so did not sink into Earth's mantle. Instead, they were scraped off in a way that's similar to what happens when a person puts their arm under a table and then slowly moves it underneath. The sleeve gets crumpled up, he said. This crumpling formed mountain chains such as the Alps. It also kept these ancient rocks locked in place where geologists could find them. Isn't that interesting? As far as inconvenient.
Not carbon dating that you're so unkeen on, Joe. We're good to go so far then, yeah?
Yeah, and basically, so they put this map together, and that's what you see there, Kev, is this map of what they say everything looked like.
And of course, the world, it's had various faces, right? Various different coverings over the course.
Remake after remake, sure.
Yeah, big time. And there'll be more to come after us, after our generation, I'd imagine. Probably sometime pretty soon, the way things are going. The reset's coming, folks. Ooga booga.
Booga booga.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Thousands and thousands of years from now. Like the maps from now are going to be like foreign. They're going to look completely different to, future civilizations living on this planet. If there are future civilizations still living on this planet. But yeah, I mean, you project that out into the future, hundreds of thousands, even, millions of years. The tectonic setup of the planet now is going to look completely different from the future. And the whole supercontinent thing, like Pangea, that has occurred many different times on the Earth, not just one time. The Earth has went through these cycles to where all of the continents would end up, forming into one giant supercontinent, and then they would end up breaking apart again. And I find that kind of interesting, how you just have these multiple phases of supercontinents forming and then spreading back out and then forming again. Yeah. And like, wow, what's going on there? And it just shows that there's a cycle to everything. Once again, it's that cycle, and it's just one of those macro scale cycle things to where, over millions and millions of years, all of the continents find their way back together, locking into place, and just interesting stuff. Very interesting.
Big time. And I was just talking about the moon there on chat, and the fact it's hollow, Scott. You can look at the lacrosse mission where it rung like a bell. Remember all that stuff? And who knows what that means? Yeah, who knows what that means? But I was saying in the chat room, I was thinking, if there was an alien race here at some point meddling, doing their genetic woo, making us, maybe, I don't know. But what a perfect place to set up an outpost, right? You get two of the idiots, you leave them here for a couple of centuries or whatever. Maybe just get an AI to watch the cameras, monitor what's going on. But the minute they seen us monkeys throwing nukes at one another, they must have looked at each other and said, you know what? Doesn't matter how long we hang about here. They're never going to get it. And they probably packed up shop and they've started somewhere else now, right?
Maybe they're just chilling on the dark side of the moon.
Maybe. They're probably thinking, these are like some of the most highly conscious sentient beings in this corner, this quadrant of the galaxy. And yet, look at the state of them. They're still fighting amongst themselves. They still get divided by the colour of their skin. What's that all about? They aren't happy enough being men and women. They want 100 different variations of that. What the hell's going on with these things? Are they ever going to get it? They must be scratching their little, or their big elongated alien heads thinking, what's going on down there, dude? Dang.
Yeah, I mean...
Somebody in the chat room says, what was the mud floods? I've no idea. I've heard people talking about the mud floods. I've no idea. I've never looked into it. Sounds like interesting woo. I heard Max Egan talking about it one time, Scott. I don't know, though. I've never checked into it. It's like there was this mud flood that nobody's ever, recorded in history. There's a layer of mud right across Europe and things. Again, Scott, I've not looked into it. This is like ballpark stuff. I could be way off. It's like when they... when they dig down the layers, there's this mud that covered everything, but yet there's no stories in history about mud floods.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of the whole mud flood thing. I've never dived deep into that and did any extensive research or anything.
Could get messy if you dive into that, Scott.
Exactly. A little mud bath.
Can be a bit of mud wrestling, eh? You wouldn't get away with mud wrestling on the telly these days. Nah, definitely not politically correct.
I think Joe knows a little bit about the mud flood, though. So maybe when he gets back, we'll ask him about it. But
did he watch it from the Ark? Did he? Did he go up to the nest? And watch it from the Ark? I don't know. But yeah, it's one of these things. I mean, you've got that. You've got there's another continent that they talk about as well. Can't remember. Is it Lumeria? Something like that. There's all these little mysteries, like these kind of stories about Earth and things. And I think that's why there's shows like Freaky Friday, Coast to Coast, Paranormal Portal. I think that's why they do so well, Scotty boy, because we're naturally kind of inquisitive. We want to know, and these little mysteries, I mean, dang, dude, they head right for the good part of the neurons. There's something about them that just... Doesn't matter how often you discuss them, and even if we can't get any closer to what the actual truth was, it's just fascinating, man. Better than this politics and all the other stuff you could be talking about.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's amazing about us, right? As a species, we are a very inquisitive species. We want to know everything. We ask these questions, and
here he is, the mud flood expert. All right, Joe. Joe the Mud Flood.
Mud Flood, what do you know about it?
Not much, man. Somebody brought that up to me. Wow. I mean, that is like a way cool thing. There was that, and then there was 2 tinfoil hat things that he found it on 8chan, the mud flood stuff. And...
me and Kev were saying we don't know too much about the mud flood, and we were thinking maybe you would be but we'll look it up.
Yeah, in Grand Tartaria.
Yeah, Grand Tartaria, right? That was the one that was the basically an empire that existed that they wanted erased from history, apparently.
Well, I've got some keynotes here, right? And it was somebody brought it up, and I was being honest. I've never really looked into it. I heard Max Egan talking about it. Sounded interesting. Good stuff. Says here, evidence of a mud flood can be found all over the world. Okay, so I thought it was just Europe. Says this is most apparent when one begins to look at architecture and buildings in virtually any larger populated city, where one begins to find building after building of a certain age that appears to have part or all of its original ground floor story embedded below ground. Telltale signs of a mud flood affected building is windows and partial windows visible at ground level. Sometimes these are bricked over. Now, other times the windows remain and are casually described as daylight windows for bringing light into a basement. That itself is only half buried below ground, often on two adjoining sides of the building, but not the other two, somewhat reinforcing an impression of a flow of material past a building or area. Now, that's quite interesting, and I've seen buildings like that. You know, I've never really kind of questioned whether it was a natural event, some kind of mud brought the levels there. I thought it was an architectural thing. And cities are built up over, you know, decades as well. So I don't know. But it says when excavated at all during renovations or in preparation for demolition, mudflood buildings reveal entire hidden entrances. Now that's weird. Many of them grander in design than that seen above for decades. These are the original street-level doors and windows of the buildings. The deposits of material said to have been deposited in many areas exceed 3 meters or more. That's 12 or more feet of mud, soil, sand, what have you. That's a lot of dirt. That's a lot of debris, guys.
That's a ton.
And the fact that there's entrances and they're quite like elaborate and things, I mean, they were obviously at one point at ground level. It's a no-brainer. So it says here, many cities around the world with notable numbers of apparently mud flood affected buildings and towns also have giant historic fires or other natural disasters in their history, with attendant stories about entire swathes of populations or populated areas being wiped out, utterly destroyed, or buried as a result, with the modern city being constructed literally upon the previous city's ruins. These cities, Seattle, Boston, Oklahoma City, Syracuse, is that how you say it? Washington, D.C., Moscow, Paris, Cairo, and many more, all have well-known catacombs, abandoned subways, tunnels, underground cities, indeed whole lost worlds beneath our feet that we know about. Some small remnants of them can be even toured under close supervision and on an extremely restricted basis. So proponents of the mud flood event and a deception surrounding the event place it around 150 to 200 years ago. Not even that long then, guys. It is not ruled out, I think.
But if you think about it, though, right, the flood itself, what would it do? It would deposit a ton of sediment.
Yeah.
And stuff. So,
but 200 years ago?
That's the thing. Then this thing happens. Then how aren't we all talking? How isn't it part of history?
Yeah.
You know.
You understand what I'm saying?
What's really interesting though is I wonder if this has something to do. I'm just throwing this out here because I'm just trying to make connections and connect dots. I mean, I know this is a global event, but you know, I think it was in 1700 there was a huge catastrophic like 9.0 earthquake off the Cascadia subduction zone. And you gotta wonder if maybe something like, if that coincided with it, if there was some kind of a global event of some kind, an earthquake or something that happened that created this mud flood. But I do think it's interesting how, you know, one of the largest earthquakes ever on that fault line occurred, 1700, I believe it was. I'll have to go and look again, but
Well, it says here as well, going back in history, historical occurrences that have been linked to a possible mud flood include the Tunguska airburst meteor event and the volcanic eruptions at Santorini and Pompeii. I'm not sure if Krakatoa got mixed up in this or not, but it's possible. It's not clear to me, as far as I can tell so far, to anyone whether these events are, if real, natural disasters of a random but cataclysmic scale, something nearly as apocalyptic but cyclical in nature. Maybe such events as a reversal of the magnetic poles, solar storms, and a total Steve speculation here, it says. I like that. At least it admits when it's speculating,
Yeah, that's right.
Says
Yeah.
St. Petersburg, Russia, ancient Greece, Rome and Italy, the Great Pyramids of Egypt, and more are all said to have been rediscovered and physically unearthed by the people of the time immediately after the posited mud flood event. Now, how often have we said that about the pyramids, guys? That the Egyptians came across them. They were already there, be it buried or whatever,
And you could see the water damage and everything on the Sphinx where it had once been underwater, or so like it said right there, these mud flood events obviously are some kind of a cyclical event, that occur.
And somebody in the chat room says the powers that be lie about history? ? Oh, absolutely. Think of the word. Break the word up. History is his story, and those who can control the past, oh yes, they control the future. Indeed. Ooga booga sounded intelligent there, right? But it says here, St. Petersburg, Russia. Where are we? Yeah, got there. These survivors, it is theorized, determined to take advantage of, and indeed credit for, the remaining structures, infrastructure, and riches left behind by what is presumed to have been this global, in brackets, Tartar, not kill brackets, just brackets. This dude's normal.
Regular brackets.
Global Tartar civilization. So, speculation here. I'm ignorant, but this is all new to me. Would this Tartar civilization be the same as Atlantis, guys? Because we talk about Atlantis as being a global civilization, right?
But it is. This is something of a civilization or an empire that is so big. How do you erase it from history? And it existed not long ago. It's like Scott said, 200 years ago. Unbelievable. And it's gone. No trace.
And what Kev is talking about now is it's like previous mud floods, because they go in cycles. So something obviously put the, buried the Sphinx and the pyramids and they experienced their own mud flood of some kind.
There's marks on them. If you go to the pyramids or you go to the Sphinx, you'll see them. I was very,
so
very.
wasn't a mud flood or some cataclysmic event like a mud flood that ended up wiping out, Atlantis or whatever this Tartar civilization is.
Here, were they extincted? Did they leave Earth, or perhaps only the surface of the Earth? That plays into your cavernous, porous Earth theory, Scott. Right. Says number 7, the mud flood deception theory also posits that the former civilization enjoyed a very modern lifestyle with electricity, flying machines, and other seemingly high-tech conveniences in their lives. I am saying Atlantis then, or something similar. These are hinted at in the art and literature of the period. Much of what is attributed to fancy and fantasy, or early attempts at science fiction, may in fact hint at the lost greatness of our former selves, those that lived before the mud flood, pre-flood. We talk about pre-flood a lot, right? It says here, is the mud flood the biblical flood that cleansed the earth of all the wicked humanity except for God's chosen family? Noah and co. Maybe. But you have to believe in an early or a young earth for that, which interestingly is a big part of what is supposed deception is about. Interesting. Says calendars are involved. On you go, Joe.
just so you know, if you go by the biblical side of things, right? There are some people that interpret the Bible as the earth being 6,000 or so years old. The young earth, like you're saying. Then, of course, you know, you've got guys like Pember that says the Bible gives evidence of a pre-Adamite civilization, and that these incarnations of humanity are cyclical. And so that seems to take up a lot more of a, like, how would you say, like, it's got more traction, I guess you could say, in recent.
Okay, if you were to take, so what is one day for God? What is that? 1,000 years?
1,000 years.
Okay, so if you take 6,000 years and you just
that's a big place.
You times that by, you take that the earth being 6,000 years old, but you convert that into God's time frame, then you're looking at what, 600,000, something like that?
No, a day.
Or a day.
6 days.
6 days.
6 days to God. Yeah. So I'll tell you the exact date, because remember, Jews are excellent bookkeepers. They're good record keepers. If
Shalom.
Anything, right? Shalom. By the way, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Jewish year.
5,000 and something.
Yeah,
5,271.
79.
Oh, damn, dude. I was close, man.
So, one thing, if you look at biblical prophecy, right? 5779. So, let's just say it's 5.779 days for God, and it's 5,779 years for us. That would also mean, like, if you take the biblical days of the week, right? You have, first of all, in Hebrew, the days of the week are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's all it is. There's no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The seventh day is the Sabbath day, or the day of rest. From Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is Sabbath. Now, if you take that number, that's 5.7 days. You're almost a 6 day. Day 6 into 7. So, I'm saying that right around that time, that would be the, what would they call that? That's called like a Sabbath year, if you will, or a high holy year in terms of, or a high holy day in terms of
super woo, man.
God, right? So think about this. If that's the case, what does in biblical prophecy, what happens to those that are resurrected? They spend 1,000 years or 1 day in God's time up in heaven with Yeshua, while the earth is destroyed by fire and remade, right? Which just so happens to be the 1,000 years, I think, that you're resting. The Sabbath year, right? You're up there for 1,000 years and the land rests. It burns. And then after 1,000 years, New Jerusalem comes down. And guess what? Humanity 3.0 or whatever. So that's kind of how I look at the whole Hebrew calendar and things like that.
It's always one comes along and drops a clanger at the party, and it's always one comes and kills the atmosphere.
No, think about that. It's pretty.
I like it. No, I like it. I like it because it just.
Why don't you take a dump in the punch bowl on your way out as well, Joe?
So if you think about that, if it goes like that, then that means that in the next 221 years or so, a lot has to happen. So that's kind of where I see things from the numbers perspective relative to biblical prophecy. If you're talking about the Hebrew calendar, is that's kind of how I see that play it. But what the hell do I know? Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, though, guys.
Damn, dude, we're almost on the break, man. I'm away. I'm heading for the shelter. I've had enough. This is my last broadcast tonight, folks. The world's coming to an end. It's all done.
Coming to an end. Now, 221.
There's red heifers over in Jerusalem. The third temple's been built. It's all coming to an end, Joe.
That's the problem with these asshats that make all these predictions that
I keep getting some mad tinnitus thing tonight, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on.
That's me, dude. I'm sorry. I'll tell you later. It's a long story. But I got to tell you.
Whoa. That was deep.
Predictions that are 221 years in the future, you can't go wrong, dude. You just can't go wrong.
We're going live all the way through the break. That's what we're doing. We're doing it live all the way through. Come on, guys.
There's breaks.
No, I don't know what's happened, but it's okay. We're still on air everywhere. iHeartRadio, TalkStream Live, the home of Freaky Friday. I almost said the Kev Baker show there.
There it is.
Yep.
It's how people.
You see, there we go. There we go. There he is, the man himself, Mr. Chris Geo. And remember, check out Beyond the Veil here on YouTube. Go and show Chris and Cherie some love, some really good streams over there. You like some deep woo? Whoa. They'll take you right there and then some. So check them out. So, guys, we've got like one segment to go when we come back. Is it just me, or does Freaky Friday go like twice as quick when you're on the stream as well? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
a YouTube time warp.
There is a YouTube time glitch, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
I'll tell you all about it after I speak to them on Monday, Joe.
So then I guess you could say that the Earth is old and new at the same time.
I've said for some time it's not flat, it's not spherical, it's more akin to a hemorrhoid. And we've even got a story here that I might know what's caused it to go hemorrhoid shaped, don't we, Joe? Do we have that story somewhere? I'm sure we do. Where is it? Please tell me I can find it. It's here. One of them is here. I'll find it. There you go. Using your phone on the toilet gives you piles, and it's also caused the Earth to be shaped like a hemorrhoid. I'm just saying, this is what electromagnetic frequency does to the planet, folks. Think of Gaia. You see? When you're streaming your 5G movies, think of Gaia. Giving it piles.
Taking a shine, feeling all right. There on your phone, sitting on the throne.
Oh, I like it, dude. I like it. Frying your gonads as you're putting one, laying a log. Did somebody just fart there? Nice. That was like me the other night after chili.
It makes for a little. Ooh.
Dude. Oh, so it says here, although many of us refuse to admit it, it's a fact that everyone has their phone on the toilet or uses their phone on the toilet.
Used to be newspapers. You know, you had the basket of newspapers or whatever, or magazines, but...
Protest all you like, but we won't believe you, even if you say you don't. What's the point in asking then? In fact, a recent study revealed that 57% of Brits had owned up to using their phone on the loo, with 8% claiming they always do it. But the question is, at what cost does a cheeky swipe through Instagram on the toilet come at? I've always wondered this. Doctors are now warning that this practice can give you piles, lumps inside, and around your not-so-smiley bit.
Guys, we've cracked the case. We know where the mud flood originated from.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what it was. Too much mobile phone use. Yep. That's what it was. All those beans and things coming from the new world.
Get like an imprint on your ass from the toilet seat.
What?
Yeah, it says because you sit on the toilet so much, you develop hemorrhoids, and it risks giving you piles inside and around your bottom.
I know, it's not good, dude. So speaking to the Sun Online, Dr. Sarah Jarvis, an expert in hemorrhoids, it would seem, GP and clinical director at the patient.info, and bum inspector, explained that it is the length of time your phone leads you to spend on the loo that raises the risk of developing hemorrhoids. The more you use your phone in the toilet. So it's fake news. It's fake news. They baited us in. Imagine the Metro doing that. Imagine our surprise, eh?
Can't
Oh,
believe
let's bring back the network. Here we go.
Oops.
The Wookiee took a night off. Yes, we've sacked the Wookiee. We are back. We're live. One more segment to go before we hand over the paranormal baton to the paranormal portal. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Brent Thomas on the way right after Freaky Friday on TFRlive.com. Remember to tell all your family, all your friends, all your colleagues, all your e-friends out there on social media about the place where silence is consent.
I have a question. How many listeners out there, chat room, who's on the can right now? Come on, be honest.
Who's sitting listening while taking a big steamy number 2?
I mean, the article, it does sort of.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We got it coming.
We've got an incoming from the YouTube chat, and it would appear he needs to finish this episode elsewhere. Giving yourself a dose of the lumpy ones, were we, sir? Yes.
Guess I better finish this episode elsewhere.
Absolutely. One up, one down, and one to polish. Any more than that, and you're killing the planet.
Stimulate says, crap, you caught me brown-handed.
Oh, yeah, well, hey, Justin Trudeau knows all about that recently, right?
King Sweet, he's smell fee.
A smell fee. Oh, that's terrible. I bet you that's a thing. If it isn't, can we start it? I mean, not literally take smell fees of ourselves. Although Joe often used to message me from the throne.
All the time. Polynation says he's driving the porcelain bus.
See? But it does kind of make a point. I mean, how much time do you think you would like extra time you would have, if you were to calculate it, how much is that extra time that you would spend on the toilet because you're scrolling through your feed and you're wanting to finish reading something, or you kind of get caught up in looking at memes or something like that, and it's just those minutes kind of add up as the days go on, right? And you compile that over time, and you're like, wow, maybe I did spend a lot more time on the toilet because of my phone, right? Because I was finishing reading up an article or trying to post a message or taking a smelfie, I guess, so.
Yeah, right. No, I got to tell you, I there's a lot of time wasted if you're sitting there just, pondering the meaning of life when you can be doing all the show prep you need to get done.
Whatever happened to the good old days? Whatever happened to the good old days of just, dropping a deuce and counting the floor tiles or looking at faces in the wallpaper
I mean,
pattern?
You can still do that. And that luxury is still afforded to you. But there is something to be said.
Well, if you remember back in the day
of knowledge at your fingertips while sitting there.
Remember back in the day, it used to not be the smartphone; it was the little basket of magazines.
That's right. But still, that was just a molecule in comparison to the vast library of knowledge at your fingertips that you have. It's just unbelievable. You could just go anywhere and search anything from the comfort of your own toilet.
Exactly. What an amazing time we live in, Joe.
It truly is. See, that's why I tell people, you got to focus on the positive. I understand. Kevin and I were talking about this tonight. It's like, this whole Facebook thing and the Supreme Court and all the. At the end of the day, they're going to get their way. And, do we have an incoming?
Oh, we do have an incoming, so that should be coming in here.
Should be coming in here too. But at the end of the day, they're going to get their way, and we just have to take full advantage of when we can get ours. And it's these little things that really, really, really.
Get enough crap here. No need to sit on the loo. Beep bop poop.
There you go.
Nice. Thank you, Guy.
Thank you so much, Guy. We appreciate it. The you have to focus on the positive, and it truly, to be able to multitask in that fashion, unbelievable.
It's crazy, I mean, it is. It's an insane sort of like. Can you imagine, like, did futurists in the 60s imagine, when they're having this vision of the future? Do you think it ever popped in their mind when they were having these visions of the future that there would be people sitting on their toilet just scrolling through an infinite amount of information? The Library of Alexandria at their fingertips.
Scott, it's even worse, is right. There's more crap going through those fingertips than there is going down into the toilet bowl.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
Exactly.
But it's on the internet. It must be true.
Some NASA engineers, whilst on the can, were musing via email. It says, this one did sneak up on us. Internal NASA emails reveal how it almost missed a football field-size asteroid so big it could have destroyed a city when it whizzed by Earth in July. Yeah, the city killer asteroid, according to the Daily Mail, which had a close pass with Earth in July, was not picked up by NASA until the agency was told about it just hours before it swept past. Hey, guys, guess what? Did you see this? Oh, yeah, we saw it. Sure. Shit, another one.
That's
Internal
worrying,
emails
dude.
have revealed the U.S. Space Agency was caught by surprise by the asteroid named 2019. Okay. It passed about 40,400 miles away from Earth, only 16% of the way to the moon, and was the largest rock to have done so in almost 100 years. So
those pesky 100-year city killer meteors.
Yeah, it's like
Don't
those
worry about
pesky
it.
500-year storms that Houston seemed to have got twice in 2 years.
Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here, guys. It's all good.
Right. Experts say that had it hit, it would have been devastated. It would have devastated an entire city like London with over 30 times the energy of the atomic blast near Hiroshima.
If only I could focus and confine all of that energy to the grounds of Buckingham Palace.
Oh, that would be great. Like a shape charge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A neutron bomb, just confined to the grounds. That'd be good.
The asteroid was given its name based on the date it was spotted. The year 2019 forms the first half of the name, and the O is given to the second half of July. K denotes the 10th discovery in the O period.
Okay, that's kind of cool. That's okay, man. That's cool. I like that. It's like you get your name Storms. I'd never knew that's what the actual, like, the assignments came from, those kind of letters and things. That's kind of cool. I like that. Is that Apophis we need to watch for, Joe? That big one, Apophis. That's the one they keep on going on about.
I think so.
Yeah, they've been talking about that for years now, right?
Listen to this. I don't know. It says here, Lindy Johnson, one of the planetary defenders.
Oh, nice. Imagine saying that when you're in a bar. So what do you do, Kev? Well, I just happen to be a
planetary defense
planetary defense officer, and they call me 007.
Well, Lindley Johnson said, because there may be media coverage tomorrow, I'm alerting you that in about 30 minutes, a 57 to 130 meter size asteroid will pass by Earth at only 0.19 lunar distances.
That's close. That's like a shave. In cosmic terms, that's in the window, man.
Yeah, it says an observatory in Brazil was the first to spot 2019 OK and alert the team in the U.S. After the asteroid had passed, a news release warned that it could have destroyed an area measuring 50 miles across. Something which only happens, once about every 3,000 years, they say. NASA's Paul Chodas wrote in an email 2 days after 2019 OK had passed. This object slipped through a whole series of our capture nets. I wonder how many times this situation has happened without the asteroid being discovered at all.
I'd rather not know.
Yeah, it's one of those, whatever you don't know doesn't hurt you, you know? that kind of thing.
I mean, Joe, like, this thing would take out a city, but I mean, if this goes into the Atlantic, right? I mean, both my side of the pond and your side of the pond is going to get a bit swimmy, right?
I'd say
Yeah, I'd say so.
experts realized at the time that it had been a close shave, and the NASA emails add to the sense that space surveillance isn't quite perfect. Yeah, they haven't quite worked the bugs out yet. You know, but
Well, I said it before.
see through. But hey, they can see through your walls with their X-ray vans when they drive down the street. Never mind the city killers that are passing 0.16 lunar distances from the Earth.
And Scott, we can see exoplanets like 70 light years away.
That's right. NASA can tell you how many times you picked your nose in the last half an hour.
Because we can figure out the composite, what composes an entire atmosphere of a planet based off of one pixel that might be emanating a red hue of some sort, you know.
Redshift.
Well, for people who do like that mainstream scientific approach, I'm going to be joined by Cool Cat next week, Dr. Brian Keating. He's going to be back on the show. 1 year anniversary of his book, Losing the Nobel. Came that close, close to winning the Nobel Prize. And he's one of not one, but two people.
David Warmflash coming on?
Yeah, he's coming on in October, I believe, but it's going to be
cool.
Monday, the 23rd, for Brian Keating. So we're going to be talking about his book and getting into, you know, other space news as well. And then on Tuesday night, Ben Emlyn Jones is on the show. And then on Wednesday night, I am going to be joined by very controversial guest indeed. This is what sparked what was behind the scenes being called the Holy War of Facebook 2019. And I am going to be joined by the TV psychic Tia. And Tia talks about being a witch, being a pagan, and stuff like that. And it really it just got ridiculous over on Facebook. It truly did. And it's going to get really, really cool this week when I have Tia on, because she's going to be taking down my particulars. You know, she was an ex-cop in New York. And we're going to be talking about sex magic. So boy, oh boy, if we triggered people the last time, oof, ooga booga, it's going to get even worse this time. So that's going to be the Kev Baker show this week coming up. You don't want to miss this, folks.
Excellent.
Yes, indeed. So after that shameless plug before we head out the door tonight, what other woo have we got, ladies and gents and others? Let me look. We've had that one.
So I got this one piece here. I got fizz.org. Researchers build a quantum dot energy harvester. What, by Jackie, is a quantum dot energy harvester, you ask? Well, over the past few years, thermoelectric generators have become the focus of a growing number of studies. Due to their ability to convert waste heat into electrical energy, quantum dots, semiconductor crystals with distinctive conductive properties, could be good candidates for thermoelectric generation, as their discrete resonant levels provide excellent energy filters. So, University of Cambridge, in collaboration with a bunch of other universities, have experimentally demonstrated the potential of an autonomous nanoscale energy harvester based on resonant tunneling quantum dots.
Nice.
I mean, come on. Elementary stuff. The harvester is based on first grade research done in a science fair. Yeah, no, it didn't. Harvesters based on previous research carried out by the part of their team who had proposed a terminal energy harvester based on two resonant tunneling quantum dots.
Do you know where he done that, Joe? Do you know where he done it? He done it on the toilet with his mobile phone.
He probably did. He probably came up with it. He was probably, reading some.
Inspired.
Yeah, when you put that, when you start pushing it, it releases certain chemicals in the mind, and you get eureka moments. Every scientist knows that, dude.
Funny you say that. Synchronicity. This is doctor or physicist Marcus Buttiker.
See, there we go. There's the road sign. There it is. There's the universe going, all right, chaps, you're on it.
It says, since the paper, my colleagues Rafa and Marcus on the Coulomb blockaded dots.
Cool.
And I was sitting on the toilet. I started thinking about thermoelectrics and mesoscopic circuits. See? I told you.
Yeah.
He says, during my sabbatical on the can in Geneva in 2010 and 2011, we were thinking and calculating about the chaotic cavity thermal engine. I say chaotic cavity thermal engine with quantum point contacts, and I ended up publishing another paper.
You're bad when you do that. What have I told you about publishing those papers, Joe?
You see that? That's what I'm saying. All
in his garage together. I for some reason, I think this would be a pretty good team up.
And why am I getting visions of the mud flood as well? I don't know. No.
What if we are going to experience a creativity void because of the fact that we sit on the can and we don't visualize, we don't have those thought experiments?
Well,
that
Joe, think about the AI.
It goes back to what I was saying, Joe.
Candy Crush on the can.
And realistically, Scotty, the last real human invention will be an artificial general intelligence, because after that, it will be inventing things that we haven't even thought of yet, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. But Joe, you do make a really good point about that. And it goes back to what I was saying about, counting the tiles on the floor or looking for faces in the pattern on the wall. You're left to your own thoughts. And when you're in that mind space, just random things come up to you, or come up in your head, and you think of random crap. And so when your attention is actually not focused on the technology, not focused on the smartphone in front of you and the information that you're being fed, right? When you're allowed to just kind of explore your own headspace, yeah, maybe dropping a deuce can lead to it, and you end up creating that perpetual motion machine that ends up powering the planet.
I'm saying, because you don't have that connection, because a lot of it. Remember, where does a lot of the knowledge come from and the technology come from that we often talk about? From like CERN and all this technology, we always say, well, they're pulling it from other dimensions and other beings and things like that. Well, that's why they gave us smartphones. Not only can they track us, but it distracts us, because we didn't realize that sitting on the can is actually a divine connection as well. And that's where we get the download for all the good stuff in the world, but now we don't, and that's why the world's going to hell in a handbasket.
And Joe,
we're not playing thought experiments on the can and connecting.
It's a portal. It's scrying. You're sitting on the toilet scrying to somewhere.
In one way, it is a multifaceted portal.
It is. It's like a Stargate.
And you've planted yourself near a source of water, which could have some energetic effects. See, it's all coming together now.
There's like a cymatic kind of resonant frequency when just the right size of Richard III hits the water at the right angle, and you get that and that's when you activate the full portal, Joe. That's when it happens, man. You know it. Joe's glitchy. Look, he's glitching in and out.
See,
he's gone, man. There's something weird going on.
What if it was just that simple?
Look at Joe. Look at Joe. He's frozen though. How funny is it? Look at him. Look at him. Smiling away. He's all excited. Look, he's still thinking about that frequency he needs to get when he's on the can the next time. Will we re-add him to the call? I suppose we should. Yes.
Yeah.
Scott goes big for a moment. Don't panic, folks. I haven't turned him into Shrek, honey. I didn't blow up Scott. No. We're almost at a time, Scotty boy.
What if it did come down to something that mundane, like that ridiculous, like all of these geniuses around the planet who have come up with these incredible ideas, Tesla or whatever, it all just came to them while they were like using the bathroom, just sitting there trying to drop a deuce, and they're like, hey.
A lot of musicians say they get inspired. I've heard of songs been written on the can before.
Interesting,
Yeah. A lot of good thinking gets done in there, Scott. Where has
Yes.
Joe Joseph gone? Joe Joseph has blinked out of reality, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he's done here. There he is. There he is.
Oh, there he
He's
is.
back.
There he is.
There he
Ouch.
is. No show without Joe.
You okay there, buddy?
No, he's freezing again. Look.
Woo!
No bueno, Joe. No bueno.
Coming to us live from the Matrix, Joe Joseph.
Joe Joseph.
Oh.
He's back. Oh.
It's the NSA. Oh, they're getting.
Brilliant. Love it.
Oh, NSA's getting me. I'm gonna go to the can. I need power.
Fire up the portal, Joe. Get that cymatic frequency going, just the ripples right. You know? Do the toilet challenge. You can stick your head down and see if you end up in another dimension. Hey, don't tell kids to do that. If any kids heard that, it's not a thing. Don't do it. Although if you're eating Tide Pods.
Toilet, if the bottom of your toilet looks eerily similar to the entrance to the Stargate in the Stargate movie, you know, it just you gotta wonder.
That TV show is still one of my favorites, man. SG-1. Fantastic. Atlantis as well. In fact, I like all variants of Stargate. It's good woo.
You know, and it's back when we were talking about those TV shows, right? The sci-fi shows of yesteryear, Star Trek: The Next Generation, you know, another classic. The 90s had a lot of good shows. Remember Babylon 5?
Oh, yeah, man.
Babylon 5 was some good stuff.
Deep Space Nine. Yep.
Deep Space Nine was good.
Yeah.
Some of them shows were underrated, but then
Beavis and Butthead were good. Everyone loved it.
There was a really good run of just sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
For the longest time, but it's kind of pooped out.
Well, good friend Renzo says Googling woo on the toilet is the best cure for getting one of those things that can't be shifted to shift. Who knew? Woo is good for poo, not black goo. Telling you, poetry's flowing now. Yes, indeed, the black goo. I don't think that doesn't mix well with the Stargate, folks. That's like kryptonite.
That sounds an awful lot. Oh, Jonathan Fuller sent me a little picture.
Oh no, he fires me into Photoshop and things. Oh no.
Oh, I like it.
Oh no, what's he done?
Oh.
Jonathan Fuller does to me what I do to you, Joe.
Oh, he did.
Oh no.
Oh, he did.
You see, everyone at home's wanting to see this now, but there's only one way they get to see it, and that's if I choose to share it.
Yeah.
I could be bad like that.
Let's see if I can.
Kev has to be the authoritative figure.
I am. I'm like the Facebook board.
This is rigid.
This is what happens. I get one conversation with Google, and I get all authoritative. You see. Where is it? Oh, we like.
Very nice.
We like it.
Indeed.
I'm going to bring that one onto the screen. Yes, wait a minute.
Yeah, that deserves to be on.
That's definitely.
Very nice. A matter of fact,
for people on the radio, just so you know, I have now become the show gnome. Yes.
Best. I mean.
Ha ha, Joe. You sound like a robot. We couldn't hear you abusing me there. Ha ha. Unlucky. You glitched out my gnome powers. Look at my big ears. I've actually got ears like that. That's the worst of it. I'm looking good. I'm looking good there. I don't know. I don't care what anyone says. I'm rocking it, man. See, that's why I'm growing the beard. That's like Popeye's beard, isn't it? Joe Joseph, glitching the Matrix, indeed. Yep. Exactly, Guy. It's nomenclature. I like that. Oh, I like it. I like it. Somebody says Stargate Universe was crap, but I loved the guy that played Rumpelstiltskin in Once Upon a Time. He was so good at it. Because, do you know why that was? Because he was a Scotsman. It was Bobby Carlyle, my good friend Robert Carlyle. He's not really my friend, but in Scotland, you know, you didn't know that. Maybe he is my friend. He hangs about with gnomes. Yeah, awesome actor. So then, folks, we're out of time from this little gnome. I'm going to retreat back to the island in the Firth of Forth. We'll be back on the stream tomorrow night, so please stay tuned for the Paranormal Portal. There we go, folks. There we go. Unfortunately, we are out of time. This gnome has a home to go to. Yes, indeed. See that, Jonathan? Oh, look, Joe Joseph just absolutely jumped out the stream and butchered everything. So, folks, listen, thanks for tuning in to Freaky Friday. Me and Scott will be back similar time tomorrow, an hour later than this started. We're probably going to look into more of this mud flood. That was really interesting getting into some of your suggestions today. I really enjoyed that. That's what it's all about. Everyone stays involved, keeps new topics flying. Me and Scotty are here to learn as well. And there's no crap topics. Well, there's one or two that I won't touch, and you can work them out for yourselves. But honestly, folks, this has been a blast. I would say thank you guys, but I know that offends people now. So may I bid you all farewell, my trusty scholars. Until next time, our paths cross tomorrow on the live stream here. Keep it real, keep your mind open, but not to the point where your brain goes to the black goo. You're sitting on the toilet and it runs out of you like poo. There you go.